We don't need a bunch of cats in here. Yeah, looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. We need more dogs.
And welcome back to the latest and greatest episode of the Shaving Points podcast. My name is Jayton May, joined as always by my co-host Quentin Crisco. And we're talking NFL draft, going team by team, talking about what we like, what we don't like, all that good stuff. So stick around, we'll have some fun.
Yeah, so we'll go. We already put all our picks in. We are going to start with the best and end at the worst. And you guys can see where your team lands. But starting with the best, those Washington Commanders, man. I didn't love their offseason last year, and I was clearly wrong. But I'll tell you what, I loved their draft this year.
Yeah, Dan Quinn drafts well. He had a lot of say in the Cowboys drafts when he was there, and always seemed to do pretty well. So I gave them straight B's across the board. I thought they did fine. But, I mean, a B player could be a 5 to 6 year starter. And if you can get those guys all throughout the draft all the way into the 7th round, basically killed it. Q is a little bit higher on them, A+, A, B-, A plus overall.
Yeah, Josh Connerly was my number one offensive lineman in the class.
I like the kid out of Ohio State a little bit better, but yeah.
I did too, but his injury is such a big concern. That's the thing. Like so Simmons was my offensive lineman 1, and Connerly was technically 2, but Simmons was like, that knee is a real question. There were maturity issues combined with it, where like I would have taken Connerly ahead of him, but like to get Connerly at 29, I know consensus had him at 34. This was one of the only true left tackles in the draft.
Yeah,
like
and they need it.
They needed a left tackle. Trey Amos, he was my favorite corner in the class. They get him at 61. I think he's going to be a great fit in Dan Quinn's system. He's got a lot of dog in him.
How tall is he?
He's like 6'2".
Dan Quinn guy?
Yeah. No, I mean, he's a Dan Quinn guy for sure. He's a feisty press man corner who's going to disrupt you and get and just be a pest all game. Like, I think he's an outstanding pick for them. Jalen Lane, a nice vertical slot threat there. Kane Medrano is a little lower on, but you're talking about a 6th round pick 205. I can't really knock it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he has tackling issues, but whatever. And Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I thought, was one of the sleeper running backs of the class. I think he's a really nice receiving.
I love the idea of just quarterback, wide receiver, running back in the 7th round. Just take anybody. Just throw it at the dartboard. Just take a guy, put him on the roster, get him in camp, and see what you got. I love that. Yeah, I love skill positions late in the draft over basically any other position, I would say.
Really? See, I usually go the opposite. I say give me safeties, give me interior offensive linemen, because those are 2 of the positions where guys fall through the cracks, and like safety is so hard to evaluate that guys fall through the cracks all the time. But like, yeah. That's just my thought process. Obviously, it's only a few years in, so we'll see where it goes.
I just love the idea, especially like, I mean, they have a decent run game there, but I mean, they have an old Austin Ekeler running the ball. Brown Robinson didn't seem to get the carries he deserved last season, but Ekeler held his own pretty well. But I just like the idea of going out there 7th round. You've had a great draft so far. Just going out there and being like, if we get 7 carries a game from this guy in the season that we can use in big time spots, I mean, that's a difference maker.
Yeah, no, for sure. But moving on to our next team, our number 2 team was Jay's own Buffalo Bills.
Obviously, this is completely unbiased by us. So, no, actually, so I did kind of get funny with it going down the list, but I love Maxwell Hairston. I loved him coming in. I loved his speed. I thought he was going to fall early to mid 2nd round. I thought it might have been a little bit of a reach, but I love the idea of if he's your guy, go get your guy. I love the speed that he has. He can close on anything. Playing up there in Buffalo too, he just seems like a dog. Going through the green room, every single player that got picked, he was dapping them up, hyping up his guys coming through the green room, and then he got his name called. Just all around dude, just seems like a great camaraderie guy there in Buffalo, an absolute dog. Yeah, I thought they killed this draft though. You don't seem as thrilled.
Yeah, they got a B minus for me. They did fine. I just didn't like their first two picks. Really, or three of their first four picks, really. Like Maxwell Harrison, his speed is nasty. It was like a 4.28 40, right? Like he is your Xavier Worthy like neutralizer. That makes some sense to me. That's why I didn't go any lower than a C. I had a late second round grade on this guy because I think he's a little small. He doesn't really have any experience playing press. He basically was his own only corner at Kentucky, which is worrying to me. I mean, I guess in Buffalo, their defense, that he's going to play a lot more zone than man's. That does kind of track, but the physicality aspect worried me with him. He's going to have ball production. He's too fast. He's too rangy. He's going to get his hands on the football at times. It's just the question of will he get bullied too much to make that to make that equal to me? And at 30, that just felt like a tough reality for me to come to.
Yeah, and I know you didn't love some of these picks, but I love the idea of just like we're doubling and tripling down on the defensive line in rounds 2 through 4.
I love that idea. I had a third round grade on TJ Sanders. I like him. I don't love him. So to take him at 41, especially in a trade up, seemed rich to me. And then like Deion Walker, I just don't like Deion Walker. I'll be frank. He terrifies me as a prospect. So to take him even at 109 felt rich. Landon Jackson, I loved that pick. I think that was outstanding value at 72. I think he's going to do very well in Buffalo.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for this class. Just get them in there, get them in the building, get the culture going. Buffalo strong. Circle the wagons.
And
Super Bowl bound.
For as much as I wasn't a big Maxwell Harrison fan, they got one of the corners I was a big fan of, and Dorian Strong. They got him in the 6th round. That dude is a nasty press man corner who's going to get in your face and get physical with you.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Yeah. And Jackson Hawes is one of my favorite players in this class, best blocking tight end in the class. He is just filthy nasty.
Compliment that run game they got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really expecting maybe a running back with the contract situation they got there at the running back position, but figure it out. There's always running backs easy to come by, I feel like, in the league, unless you're the Dallas Cowboys. So,
yeah. Anyways, let's move on to our third team, and that was the Kansas City Chiefs, who we both loved this draft class for them. They got we both gave an A- on this class.
Yeah, starting off at the top, Josh Simmons. I mean, a lot of people probably had him as their number one offensive lineman. Had the injury issues. They had the injury issues, but it just seems like something that happens to Kansas City. They get a gift like this. It seems like it happens every year. They're going to plug and play, probably be a 10-year starter for them, protecting Patty Mahomes back there. So just a killer first round pick. The kid out of Tennessee, is he the smaller defensive tackle, or is he the big boy?
No, he's smaller. I don't even know if the big guy got drafted. He's like 280, 285 maybe. He's the guy he's barely played any running downs in his career.
Yeah,
but he's quick. He's nasty. He's
interior. Basically just an interior pass rusher, which I love that idea, especially in that division. Go get after Bo Nix. Go get after Justin Herbert.
He's the guy who's going to give them, like, I don't know when Chris Jones' contract comes up, but Omar Norman Lott is going to be the Chris Jones replacement. Like, the talent is there. There's a lot of similar physical aspects there that are just like, okay, and he had the best burst of any D tackle in this class.
Yeah. One of my favorite picks in the entire draft, the 4th rounder, 133 overall, Jalen Royals out of Utah State. This kid's a dog.
Dog.
I love this kid. Playing at a smaller school. Are they in Mountain West now?
I think so.
They get over to the Mountain West. I love this kid. I thought he would for sure shoot up draft boards, and he ended up falling, which I was shocked by. I thought he might sneak his way into late second, early third, and ended up being mid to late fourth. But love that kid. I think he's going to fit in perfectly. Andy Reid's going to have that offense humming. I mean, he's going to have packages from day one, I think. And I'm assuming day one starter on that offense.
Wow. Okay. I don't know that much about Royals. I just know it was good value there. In the third, Ashton Gelati. I'm a fan of his game. I thought that this was a little rich for him. I had him somewhere in the 80s. Like, if they're at 66 and they can't find a trade down, I get it. You just take your guy. So I gave him a C+ for Gelati there. But I think that he fits kind of what Spags does pretty well. At 85, Noel Williams. I don't know exactly what's happening with college defenses. There are very few defenses asking their corners to press at the line of scrimmage anymore. And
I think it's just they just run so much that if you're pressing, you're going to have to sub somebody out because they run those receivers out there running different receivers out there. I don't know. It just
that might be the case. They're trying to run them off the field, but there aren't many corners coming in the league with good press experience anymore.
Yeah.
Noel Williams is one of them. Noel Williams had some very nice press man tape that's going to fit Steve Spagnuolo's defense very well. And then lastly, in the 7th round, Brashard Smith. Good Lord, Andy Reid is going to do some fun shit with this guy. Converted wide receiver from SMU to running back. This dude can fly.
This is one of my what I was talking about earlier with Washington. You go get a guy like this, and you're like, if we can get this guy to do what we want, he's going to be an absolute weapon, especially in that Chiefs offense. I love that, especially if you have an offensive coordinator like Andy Reid or offensive-minded coach. Not the offensive coordinator, but you have a guy like Andy. Yeah, you have a guy like Andy Reid. You go get a weapon like that. The options are limitless.
I mean, we all know Matt Nagy's the real brains there, anyways.
Yeah. Couldn't do without him.
All right, next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at a B+. And our combined scores have a lot of Bs. Jay gave the Eagles an A-. I gave them a B+ overall.
They did it again. Okay, so
I don't know. I don't love this class as much as most Eagles classes, if I'm being honest.
So you didn't like the Jahad Campbell pick as much. I thought Jahad Campbell was an absolute steal for him. I know the big boards had him a lot higher. But, I mean, it's just typical Eagles going to get a guy out of Alabama who was just a damn good football player who should have got drafted a lot earlier. And they're like, we'll just take him and we'll find a place for him on our defense. I know Zach Bond was the All-Pro last year. Fuck it. We're taking the best player available. We're taking a linebacker from Alabama who is a consensus top 20 pick, and we're getting him at 31. I just love that idea.
Yeah, I mean, on the consensus board, you're right. It's an A. I gave it a B-. Jahad Campbell was like a mid-second rounder on my board. He has all the physical traits, all the tools you want. He's probably going to be really good because Vic Fangio is just good at this stuff and good at developing guys. So I probably should be a little higher on this, but just based on my board, he lacks a lot of instincts. He's just not a very natural linebacker. Reminds me a decent amount of like Tremaine Edmonds in that aspect, where it's just like he's a step slow a lot, and his athletic ability makes up for a lot of it at college level, where I don't think it will in the NFL at the same degrry. Again, I think he's going to be really good regardless because he's with Vic Fangio, and Vic's just going to put him in some positions that make a lot of sense for him. But just on a pure value standpoint, I didn't love that selection here, and I was kind of surprised to see how we go linebacker this early. He's never done that.
Yeah, I've never done that, but Yeah, I think it's more of just like you go get a guy who was a dog in the SEC. I mean, that's been their strategy more than anything. I feel like in the past 5 to 6 years, and then they'll probably trade him in 2 years and grab a couple more picks, and then every year they just have 12 picks, and they can just say, "Fuck it, we're just going to go get some more SEC guys." So
You
they
want
go
to talk
get,
about a dog in the SEC? You talk about pick number 64, Andrew Makuba.
oh yeah, Andrew Makuba, absolute dog. Um,
I had a first round grade on Makuba.
Yeah, I was about to say a lot of people had a first round grade on him. I was looking at the consensus board. 72 seems extremely low, but I know a lot of people love this pick. I love this pick. And yeah, absolute weapon there as a defensive back. Just dog in Texas. I mean, he could come up, make the hit. He was all over the field. I mean, he showed like any Texas game you watch. I mean, he's showing up.
His
Just
range is a little
left
nutty.
and
Like
right.
he can do some pretty wild stuff in space.
And then Ty Robinson was one of my favorite like day 3 guys, late day 2 guy, out of Nebraska. I like the way he moves, and I was a little disappointed to see him go to Philadelphia.
Yeah, this is about right where I had him. I had him right outside of day 2, like in that 100 to 120 range. So like this made a lot of sense to me. I think his athleticism is really loud when you look at his RAS card and stuff like that. He's a little stiffer than his athletic testing might lead you to believe, but it's fine. He's still bursty. He still has some wild bursts and acceleration. So like, I think he's going to be good in Philly.
Yeah, and then Kyle McCord. I like Kyle McCord. I liked him when he was at Ohio State. I thought he was great at Syracuse last year. And this is just another example of a good GM knowing what he's doing. I mean, Jalen Hurts just won you a Super Bowl. You go take a guy in the 6th round who could actually play ball if he needs to. I love how he moves in the pocket. I love his arm. He's a big body kid, and he's not identical to Jalen Hurts. So it's not like you're going to be playing Jalen Hurts football with Kyle McCord. But at the same time, I mean, this is what they did with Jalen Hurts, and it's not the same thing. They took him in the 2nd round when they still had Wentz, obviously. But yeah, I mean, you want your starter comfortable, but never too comfortable. And I just love the idea of bringing in a talented guy like that in the 6th round.
Yeah, I gave him a C plus for the McCord pick. It's fine. I don't think McCord's going to really do anything in the NFL. So it's like, to me, it's fine. You know, I'm not going to
give him the right
I'm not
opportunity.
going to give him a lot of praise. Just kind of be like, it's there. It's all good. This is the only quarterback pick between like round 3 and Shedeur that didn't get a D or worse for me. So
No, I like Kyle McCord, man. I think he's one of the later round quarterbacks that I think his ceiling is like a 5 or 6 year starter, but I think his floor is like a 15-year backup.
yeah, maybe.
Like
I mean,
good
I think
backup.
that's a little generous for any like not first round quarterbacks floor to me, but like it's possible.
I just think he's a smart kid, and he's got a live arm. He's athletic. I don't see how he doesn't stay in the league for a long time.
Okay. I mean, I frankly, I didn't watch any of his tape. I wasn't in the quarterback business this year, so like I can't sit here and say
Always
wrong,
in the quarterback business.
Yeah. Outside of that, I thought they did a really. I really like their value in the 6th round here with like Miles Hinton, Cameron Williams, and Antoine Paulo Ryland. Those are 3 upside guys who like, especially Hinton and Cameron Williams. You get them in there with Jeff Stoutland. You throw Drew Kendall in there too. I think they did a lot of nice trench value here late.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like what I was talking about a second ago, late in the draft. Let's go get a national champion and Miles Hinton. Let's go get a big body out of the SEC and Cameron Williams.
Cameron Williams can move. He's not good at football, but he can move.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's just go get the guys who played on the best teams late, and maybe they figure it out.
Before the college football playoff, I had like some smart football people that I talked to saying like, I don't know if I like Kelvin Banks, but I think I like Cameron Williams. And then the college football playoff, Cameron Williams like laid an egg and like just was not good.
Yeah,
And I mean, and I thought Kelvin Banks got too much heat throughout a lot of that, regardless. But like, I mean, it can't. There are a lot of athletic reasons to like Cameron Williams.
yeah.
But moving on, let's stay in Pennsylvania as we go across the state to the Steel City to Pittsburgh, where
Across the pond.
they are always replenishing the trenches in Pittsburgh, and it's smart.
Yeah, I'm actually higher on this Derek Harmon pick. I must have missed this when I was grading. I like the pick a lot. He's a Pittsburgh guy through.
Where do you
and
want to make
through.
it? I can change it.
Probably a minus. Let's do A.
Okay.
No, I like the pick. I mean, it's straight Pittsburgh. I mean, he fits the culture from day one, and I like their commitment to just saying like we're fine with where we are and not reaching on a quarterback. I love Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. He's my probably at the top of my second tier of running backs in the draft. If you take away the two Ohio State guys, you take away Amari Hampton, and you take away Genty, he was right up there with that next wave of guys. And I know they love running the ball in Pittsburgh. I thought that was a great pick. Jack Sawyer, just absolute dog. He's a guy who'll die for you on the field.
At 123, Jack Sawyer was one of the steals of the draft. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't love it. I had like a late second round grade on him. Obviously, NFL teams thought he'd belong a little lower than that, but like I think at 123, he's an absolute steal.
I feel like he's the culture guy, though. I mean, he's a guy that loves football, and we're gonna. I feel like we're gonna look back in 5 years, and Jack Sawyer is just gonna be like a guy that goes out there, gets you 7 to 9 sacks a year, just a solid top 60 player in the league for 10 years. Like,
Yeah.
man, shit. Across from TJ Watt, I mean, his numbers might even be better than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think his versatility really plays into the way Pittsburgh plays defense, as far as like being a hand in the dirt, like 4-5 tech, or being able to actually play the edge. I don't know how effective he is on the edge from a bend standpoint. I have real questions about that, but like I think from a run defense standpoint, he can play anywhere from a 4 tech out and be just fine. And moving back, well, Derek Harmon to the Steelers might be my favorite pick in this draft. There is not a player that feels more like a Steeler in this draft to me than Derek Harmon. And I would have been thrilled if the Bears selected him at 10 or 9, wherever we pick 10.
Yeah.
So
10.
And then Caleb Johnson, I was okay with this pick. I mean, at 83, that's about where he was on my board. I was a little lower on him, it sounds like, than you in the consensus, but overall, I mean, where they got him at 83, that's just right. So
I love Big Ten running backs.
yeah, I just thought Derek Harmon, Caleb Johnson is a scheme-specific 2-down running back in the NFL, which was why he was lower on my board. He was an outside zone runner. He doesn't really work in a gap scheme or in really anything other than an outside zone scheme. And he doesn't have much pass protection experience, and he doesn't do much as a receiver. So to me, I was like, I couldn't put higher than a 3rd round grade on him because of that. Plus the athletic testing, he has some limitations.
Yeah, I just love his fit there. Him and what's his name? The fantasy guy. Yeah, Jaylen Warren.
Love
the guy
Jaylen Warren.
The guy that kills you in fantasy. You start him.
You see one play from Jaylen Warren, you're like, I need this guy on my team, and then he doesn't get
the football. He doesn't get the football, and then you drop him and somebody else picks him up and he goes off for 23 points. But
Yeah.
we'll see what this I love this combination of Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson back there. Will Howard, I gave an A just because I didn't think it was a reach, and you're in the quarterback market, obviously, and he's a guy who played a lot of college football. I felt like he didn't put it together at Ohio State like I thought he would. I thought he would perform a lot better. I think they might have been better with Kyle McCord last year than Will Howard, but he did make some big plays when it mattered most in the big games. He's mobile on the feet, and he's a big guy. He's like pretty close to the size of Big Ben. I feel like he's a guy that's going to buy in from day one, can do everything that's asked from him. I don't know how good he can be, but I just like that. I like that fit there. I like him with Tomlin. And I mean, we know he can play ball. So getting a guy like that in the 6th round, I know you gave it a D, but I like that, especially
when he's going to be in the league. I don't see the point of drafting him. Like that's where I'm at with it. Like, why am I spending this capital on a guy who has really limited arm talent?
Yes, but you're in the quarterback market, and it's a quarterback. I guess we're opposite here. To me, I don't. If I'm a GM, I take a quarterback every year. I don't give a fuck who's my quarterback. I find somewhere where I think I can find value, and I take a quarterback.
See, here's my thing though. I'm just sitting like with so many of these quarterback picks. It's just like Shedeur was right there. You're telling me you wouldn't spend a 5th round pick on Shedeur Sanders? Like, come on, what are we doing here?
I would have taken Shedeur, but hey, I just like the idea of going and get a guy, and I love Shedeur. I thought he was late 1st, early 2nd round guy. Apparently, teams viewed him as a backup, and if you're bringing a guy like that in to be your backup, that can cause issues. So
yeah,
if you're not bringing him in to start from day one, then why draft him? Is kind of what it seemed like.
But let's move this.
But they also this draft also screams that they think they're getting Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But next up here, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who got a B+ from us overall, a B+ from you, a B from me.
So Emeka Egbuka is my favorite wide receiver in this draft. The only reason why I only gave it a B+ and not an A or A- here is I don't love the fit. I mean, they just paid Chris Godwin. They got Mike Evans. I mean, it's kind of what Seattle did a couple years ago with JSN, which I mean seemed to work out for him. I mean, now he's the dude there in Seattle. But I like my receivers going out there, giving them the confidence that they're going to be a top dog on the team. But at the same time, you take a guy like Emeka Egbuka, who's been on that Ohio State run of great wide receivers to where he's been so fucking good in that offense, and he's never been the best wide receiver on his team. So maybe this was the perfect fit. Maybe I just talked myself into it more than I already was. But, I mean, I think he walks into an offense where he can compete instantly. It's going to be hard to see that field, though. I mean, who was that kid they took in the 2nd round last year who came on strong at the end?
Wilson.
McMillan.
Roman Wilson.
McMillan.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm still thinking Steelers. Jalen McMillan.
Jalen McMillan came on strong at the end of last year.
Weird fit. I didn't even think about Jalen McMillan.
Yeah, he was playing very good football at the end of last year. So Mike Evans is getting old. But yeah, I mean, so the fit to me was the only reason why it got a B+. I mean, I love the kid. I love the player. But are we going to put Jalen McMillan at wide receiver 4? Is Emeka Egbuka going to be wide receiver 4? I mean, Godwin, they did just sign him to an extension, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
So, I mean, one of these 1st or 2nd round picks in the past 2 years is going to be playing wide receiver 4, which, I mean, I guess it's an embarrassment of riches at some point, but you kind of want your get your guys out there. So, I mean, that was the only reason why that got a B plus for me. I love Emeka Egbuka overall. Also love Tez Johnson out of Oregon.
Oh, can I touch on Emeka Egbuka a little bit here?
Absolutely.
So he got a C plus from me, and that just I don't know. I know the consensus board has him at 25. They took him at 19, and that value generally is fine. I had him a little lower on my board of just like I was expecting a lot more when I turned on his tape. It was just kind of like it felt like watered down JSN to me when I was watching him. A little less agile, a little like everything was a little less, and it was just like I had questions about his ability to separate at the NFL level. I mean, everything intangibly outstanding. You know, he's everything you loved about like
he's one of
JSN and Chris Olave and those Ohio State receivers.
He's one of
just
the
a
best
watered down version.
He's one of the best at finding space in a defense that I've seen at the college level in a long time. He almost looks like Travis Kelce out there, to where he's always somehow finding the gap in the defense and just setting. Runs better than average routes, I would say. Lacks some explosiveness, but with a guy like Baker, with how accurate he is and everything, I mean, I feel like this is going to be a perfect fit. I just don't know how he fits.
Yeah. I mean, I can see I think he's a guy who's going to beat zone really well in the league, to your point. I just don't know how he beats man coverage. And like, to me, if you can't beat man coverage, I don't know where you really fit outside of a stacked wide receiver room, which Tampa has. But
yeah,
it's just, to me, that's why I was a little lower on him than this.
Yeah, I do love their back-to-back picks at DB. DB's in need, and they have
with Benjamin Morrison and Jacob Parrish.
They have a top corner in the league right now. So I mean, if you get good production out of one of these guys, you're looking solid.
I mean, I think it's a good bet to do too when you're taking Benjamin Morrison, because like I like the value at 53. I think Benjamin Morrison is a first round corner, but he's coming off that hip labrum surgery, which is big.
Yeah.
You know, that is a big deal, especially for a corner who needs that hip flexibility. That's why I only gave it a B. But like taking Parrish at 84 makes a lot of sense because of that to me. Because Parrish, I think he's just Parrish screams Todd Bowles corner to me.
That's what the Cowboys did with Dan Quinn when he was a DC there in Dallas. I mean, they took Diggs, they took the kid out of Kentucky, they took Nashawn Wright. I mean, they were taking DB after DB after DB and be like, hey, one of these guys is going to work out. I like the strategy. I mean, especially at the cornerback position where it's hard to. I mean, they don't get paid the most, and I mean, it's just hard to find guys. So if you need them, take as many as you can get.
Yeah, just getting bodies makes sense there.
Yeah.
All right.
But overall, yeah, I like the kid out of SMU. Don't love it, but I mean, it's
actually honestly, I think that's great value. Elijah Roberts, he's a bit of a tweener, but man, he has some nice bend for an interior guy and some good burst. I think he's going to make a nice, like, either head up like 4-5 technique or even a 3 technique in the league if he can add a little mass. Like, then he'll fit in that defense well.
Oh yeah, I like Tez Johnson in Oregon too.
Yeah. All right. But next up, we had
even more so than Emeka Egbuka. How is he going to see the field?
Yeah, for real. And so, did you see that they got the monster beef D tackle out of Florida as a UDFA too? So they have the heaviest player and the lightest player in the NFL at the same time.
Yeah, I don't see that guy seeing the field. He got pushed around in the SEC that big.
Why the hell didn't the Commanders just pay him money? Like, if I were an NFC East team that's not the Eagles, I'd be like, this is our tush push stopper. This is what we do.
Just sit there.
Yeah, move this guy, and like you have to commit 3 bodies to him, so everybody else can like win their gap.
Cam Jurgens would retire that fat fucking one play though.
Dude, I don't know. That's just a lot of like that dude. He's hard to move.
Yeah, but he plays. I don't know.
Like literally,
Plays little.
I would just put him in whenever it's like short yardage, tush push territory, and that's his entire job.
Every time I watched Florida, when I saw him on the field, I was like, "Oh, big boy!" Then, I mean, he just played like so light in the pants. Just
But we're talking like 5 snaps a game.
yeah, I don't know.
I would try if I were watching. I would have paid him some serious UDFA money.
Yeah, just get him in the building. Just go out there and bet on him.
All right.
Yeah.
Next up, we had the New England Patriots at a B+ overall combined score. You had them at a B+. I had them at a B.
Yeah, I loved what they did early on here. Will Campbell. I don't know if Will Campbell's going to be good at football in the NFL. I might die for this guy. I love this kid. Like, just hearing him talk, I mean, I feel like he's got the mentality. He's just out there, like he'll follow his own sword for his guys. Seems like a dog out
in front of the camera.
Yeah, seems like a dog out in the field. I mean, plays big, short arms. I mean, I think he's going to be a perfect fit in this Mike Vrabel offense or Mike Vrabel team. If he can't play tackle, I think he's fine as a guard. Top 5 pick, but I mean, little weak draft. If you go out there and you get a 10-year starter in this draft, I feel like you're doing pretty good. And then one of my favorite running backs in this entire draft. I've been talking about TreVeyon Henderson for 3 years now. And I understand why he's in college, getting paid the amount of money you get paid nowadays in college, especially as a running back.
Well, in a year ago, and I don't think he goes this high. He needed to have a healthy year.
2 years ago, I thought he was a first-round pick. Then,
he had injuries 2 years ago too.
Yeah, but I still think he would have went. I think he would have went about where he went this year, 2 years ago. Last year, I thought it made sense for him to stay back because of the injuries, and then I think he improved his draft stock about back to where it was previously. But I mean, with the money you're making in college, especially as a running back, I mean, and he was splitting carries, so it's not like he was a workhorse there, just getting.
Well, whenever he's been a workhorse, he got hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, him and Judkins together was a great combination. But
it was.
And then Kyle Williams, one of my favorite wide receivers in the draft, out of Washington State. I love these first 3 picks.
Yeah, Will Campbell, like I'm good with it. He's gonna be a fine,
especially with Drake May. I feel like these 3 picks with Drake May is awesome.
I gave it a B- just because I don't know how high his ceiling is, frankly, in the NFL. And at pick number 4, I need a higher ceiling than that, so I knocked it a little. I still think the pick's fine. One thing with Will Campbell that irks me, and we'll see if this matters or not. Probably doesn't. I'm probably just being like nitpicky, but I don't like how much he seeks the camera. I don't like how much that he's in front of a microphone and how much he's like just and how much like some of the I don't know. It just seems like he likes the spotlight a lot, and I just don't like that from an offensive lineman. Might not matter. Might be nothing. Might just be me being a crotchety old man. We'll see. We'll find out. But TreVeyon Henderson, I thought that was good value for them there. There were some receivers there, some really good receivers at 38, I think still. So that's why it's just a B+ for me on Henderson. But they got a really good receiver in Kyle Williams at 69, so it all worked out. That Kyle Williams was an A+ for me.
Yeah. So Rich Lowe is wondering our thoughts on the draft overall compared to previous years. I mean, it just depends on how deep you dive into the draft. I mean, if you're a casual fan who follows the top 40 guys or something, I mean, I think it was fun following some of these running backs, some of these wide receivers that were going on day 2 and day 3. I don't dive in nearly as deep as Quentin does.
Yeah, so. Rich, in NFL draft like circles or like you know the fanalists on Twitter or draft Twitter, however you want to talk about it. This year, this was a starters draft, not a stars draft, right? Like you're gonna get 50 to 100 starters entering the league out of this class. But you're not going to get a lot of blue chip players in this class. So, like, I get what you're saying with that it felt more like a low light draft. I kind of do feel that way. I think there was a lot of depth in this class, but there wasn't much of that top tier talent.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I had some fun with it. I mean, especially we're both Texas Tech guys. So, I mean, you get some of the guys that
Caleb Rogers, baby.
Rogers,
I had his spot pinned.
But yeah, I mean, it's fun to follow some of the deeper guys. But yeah, overall, I mean, I thought the first round didn't have a whole lot of intrigue. But this NFL draft, we're NFL fans. I mean, we'll eat up. I mean, they did a whole fucking schedule release, like at what, pick 22, where they brought it. I was watching the ESPN feed at the time. I turned it off afterwards when they brought out like Kay Adams and that other girl or whatever, or maybe not Kay Adams, but anyway, they brought out and they were like hyping the crowd up like it was a concert to drop the schedule release. So I'm like, what are we doing, guys?
I didn't even see that. I was I was broadcasting, so I was just like, I didn't catch any of that stuff.
Also, absolutely, the NIL has an impact on the draft. I was just talking about this with TreVeyon Henderson. I think TreVeyon Henderson comes out 2 years ago if it's not for NIL. I think NIL is going to impact the running back position more than any other position in the NFL. NFL running backs do not get paid, but
and
if
are
you're
super valuable in college.
Yes, I think you're going to start seeing guys stick around college, especially at the maybe even at DBs. Some of these positions that don't really get paid or valued in the NFL that can win you a national championship in college. Absolutely.
And you're going to keep seeing more guys like Trey Amos at cornerback.
Yeah.
Who Trey Amos was like University of Louisiana Lafayette for 3 years, went to Alabama for 1 year, and then Ole Miss for 1 year. Like he's a wild athlete. But like he was kind of buried and then like just stuck around as long as he could.
Yeah, and this isn't Arch specific because I think the Manning family isn't the type of people that are too eager to just get to the NFL as quickly as possible. I think he's going to be a 4-year guy at Texas. But a guy like that who came in with a big NIL bag, sat for 2 years. I mean, historically, we would see a guy like that start year 3 and then just go to the league, go get your money. Dude's going to make probably $14-15 million while he's in college. And the Mannings stayed 4 years, both Peyton and Eli.
And he
20 years ago.
And he has a chance to do something that neither of his uncles or his granddad did.
Win a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I just brought up Arch because he was the number 1 quarterback in his class, and I do truly think he stays 4 years. I think he might have done that regardless, but with the amount of NIL money he's made and the confidence that his family has in him, they're not worried about getting to the league. And I think we might see that going forward too.
Yeah.
Well, Carson Beck just went to Miami for what, $8.5 million?
Was it that much? Jeez.
And he probably ends up as a first-round pick. I mean, he's got insane arm talent.
I don't know. I don't know.
In this draft, I mean, I think he's more talented than Cam Ward, who he's replacing.
What about Quinn Ewers?
Oh, man, don't get me started on Quinn Ewers. That dude's going to be a dog.
All right, let's move it along. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns, who also have a B+, I believe, on the overall.
Be honest for me.
Jay gave them a B-. I gave them a B+. They have a B overall, excuse me.
You can't take a Michigan defensive lineman top 5 in the draft. I don't care. Can't do it. Went 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, a defensive tackle out of Michigan. I probably should have gave these people a C.
Yeah. So a big part of this for me, like I gave the Mason Graham pick an A+. really, this is like a B, maybe a B plus pick to me. But the trade, they got a bunch of
I do
future
like the trade.
capital from Jacksonville, so I had to factor that in. That's why it's an A plus. I thought,
Yeah, I should have
don't
factored that
think-
in. I only factored in the pick. I didn't
Yeah.
factor in the trade down.
Like I don't like. I understand the appeal of taking Travis Hunter there at 2. Like I think Abdul Carter made more sense. But the trade down, I think, made all the sense in the world for them to get some more capital. Now they have some more capital to go get a quarterback next year if they want to. But when we look at the rest of this draft class, they're kind of in a weird spot at quarterback now too.
Yeah.
So like that is kind of awkward. But overall, like at 5, I'd give him an A plus because of the trade.
Yeah, the kid out of UCLA, yeah, Quinshon Judkins, one of my, I loved him and Travion both. I mean, I didn't really have I probably leaned Travion just a little bit more just because the burst and the speed and everything. But I love the way.
I'm a Quinshon truther, man.
I love the way
Travion all day.
I love the way Quinshon Judkins plays football. I mean, you just watch him and he's a ball player. But then you go and take Dylan Sampson in the 4th, and it's like, I feel like Dylan Sampson, I loved him coming into the draft, but he's a worse version of Quinshon Judkins. Like, I don't feel like when you're taking 2 running backs, I feel like you want them to like complement each other. I feel like they're the same guy, but Judkins is just a lot better than Sampson.
I don't know. I think Sampson is a little more elusive and he's a bit more of a space player. Like I don't know. I think Quinshon can do it all. So like I don't really see anything where I'm like with Quinshon where I'm like he doesn't fit this, he doesn't fit that. That's why I had him ahead of Travion because I think he's so scheme diverse.
My only thing about Quinshon was maybe I'm not giving him credit for his burst and his speed just because Travion was so electric.
Yeah, I think it took away from
that. In my mind,
Quinshon gets seen as a bowling ball when he's so much more than that.
Yeah, that's probably what it is for me. But Harold Fannin, the kid out of Bowling Green, I know a lot of people liked him. I don't know much about him.
I like him a lot.
I don't like Dylan Gabriel. I didn't like him at UCF. I didn't like him at OU. I didn't like him at Oregon. In the 3rd round, and then Shadur in the 5th after taking Gabriel. I mean, Joe Flacco is going to be the starting quarterback on this team, and you just took 2 rookie quarterbacks, and you're probably going to need a quarterback next year.
Yeah, it's very awkward, but just to rewind it a little bit, like on Schlesinger, I love Schlesinger. Probably the most instinctive linebacker in this class. The dude is like the natural. Like he was a walk-on at UCLA, didn't get his chance to play until this year, and then was just unreal, like ridiculously good. And Fannon's just he's wild, man. Like he's different. Like this is about where I had him on my board, so like I gave him a B for the pick there at 67, but like. I don't know. I feel like I comped from Isaiah Likely. I think there's a lot of similarities in like the way they're gonna work in the NFL. So that's kind of a like scheme specific player, but I don't know. This dude put up like 200 yards against Penn State in the opener last year and was carrying that Bowling Green offense. He was their whole offense all season. He put up nasty numbers against Penn State.
Yeah, no. So you talked about the trade earlier. And I'm like, oh, I love that. You get a 1st round pick next year for a Jacksonville team that hasn't really been able to put it together. Maybe Travis Hunter is the difference maker there, but from everything we've seen out of the Trevor Lawrence Jaguars, I mean, that could very easily be a top 10 pick.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the Browns, like, why do you not just like? Why are you doubling up on running back in the 4th? Why are you taking 2 quarterbacks? Build this fucking roster as deep as you can at every position. And it's kind of like antithetical to what I said earlier about quarterback, where just keep taking them and one of them's going to hit. Yeah, maybe. But like, you don't have anything there right now. You have a Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco might win you fucking 10, 11 games next year, but he's obviously not the future. Kenny Pickett's obviously not the future. You take a Dylan Gabriel, who obviously not the future. Maybe it's Shadur, but now you're forcing him into a terrible quarterback. Like maybe, there's a lot of opportunity there. He can learn from Joe Flacco, but it just seems like you set yourself up so well. You take the what many consider would be the safe pick, a big defensive lineman who was dominant in the Big Ten. You go get a linebacker. You go get a running back. And if you're a Cleveland and you're looking at these first 3 picks and being like, okay, fuck it, we don't need quarterback. Like, we're fine. You go get another tight end. You're like, awesome. Like, this dude's a playmaker. Like, you can see the future. And then you go quarterback, running back, quarterback to finish out the draft. I don't know, man. I would have just rather just keep stacking them up and go get experience for all these guys with Joe Flacco at quarterback or Kenny Pickett at quarterback. It lose a shit ton of games. I mean, I know you hate the motion of like, oh, the quarterback class next year will be better because you never know, but the quarterback class will be better next year.
It will. I mean, I gave the Dylan Gabriel pick an F, and that's not even value based, even though I mean he was way lower.
You could give him an F for me too.
But like, let's be real here. If you like Shedeur enough to take him at 144,
why did you not take him?
You like him enough to take him at 94. What are we doing here? That's just that is foolish. Like, that is just a foolish way to go about this.
People said it was the owner's decision, and that they only took him because the GM had already taken Dylan Gabriel at 94. I mean, if that's the case, if you're having that big of a
don't put him in this position with Shedeur. It's exactly. Bad process all around.
There's no reason for it, and I like Shedeur. I loved him coming in. Everything that's been said post draft, I get, but I think if this kid has an opportunity, I think he's going to be good in the league. But how much of an opportunity you get in this situation, I don't know, and it just seems like you're just setting yourself up to fail here on all fronts. And after a great first 3 rounds too.
Yeah, I love their draft outside of the quarterbacks. Like, it's just like, but just taking 2 doesn't make sense there with where they're at and where they position themselves to be.
And the order of the 2 as well.
Yeah.
If they would have taken Shedeur in the 3rd and Dylan Gabriel was there in the 5th, and they're like, fuck it. Like, I would almost respect that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's perplexing. I mean, I think they made the right decision taking Shedeur eventually, but like, I think they just went, their process to get there was all bad. So
yeah.
Moving on though, Arizona Cardinals are next. Jay gave them an A- or a B-. I gave them an A-.
Yeah, I didn't love the Walter Nolan pick out of Mississippi. I know you were bigger on him than I was. Just watching Ole Miss, I just didn't see it out of him. And then the Will Johnson pick. Consensus, he was up there, but I didn't love Will Johnson to begin with, and then they started talking about the injuries that apparently were coming up on the medical reviews and everything. I might have taken Will Johnson off my board completely if I was GM. So yeah, I mean the first 2 picks I didn't love, and you did.
I just think Walter Nolan's upside is too high to pass at 16. His burst, his bendiness, his frame is just
wasn't he the kid that was number 2 overall in the recruiting class behind Arch that went to A&M?
Yeah,
I think it's the same kid. Yeah.
He's freaky. Like, he is different, and he reminds me of like Jeffrey Simmons coming out, and he has a similar demeanor on the field of just nasty, mean defensive tackle. There are some questions about, his motor and his how much he goes every single play. If there's a coach going to get that out of him, it's Jonathan Gannon. So like that's why this ends up an A-. To me, if he went to a different team with a coach who I don't trust, like if he went to Dallas under Matt Eberflus, I'd be like, ugh, I don't know how this is going to work. But then again, I don't know. Maybe Dallas has a tendency to make those players work. So I don't know if that's the best example.
Well, that historically they had coaches that made it work.
Yeah. Will Johnson, I think at 47, that's great value for him. If this pick was at 25, I'd have more questions. But at 47, it's like, yeah, you take that chance. I mean, his film wasn't great, I didn't think, but he has certain instincts that you just can't teach at cornerback that are going to result in interceptions as long as he's on the field. So, like, to me, that's good value there. Go for it.
And I mean, I like that they had like a clear game plan going in here. I mean, they went DB and trenches. That was it. Oh, I guess they took a linebacker, but
yeah, I mean, I think that's smart. Like, I mean, those are two valuable spots to invest in, and they did it. Like, I think Jordan Birch was good value for them at 78. I gave that a B plus. And outside, I didn't watch a ton of their guys beyond that, so we're just really talking consensus board at that point. But like, I mean, they generally had good value up and down the board against the consensus outside of Hayden Connor, which I don't know. I'd be shocked if Hayden Connor as much because I kind of focused it on our line and I didn't hear a thing about him. But
also, it may happen more than I think. How often does a team just take a single pick in every single round any given year? Because I feel like
not much anymore.
I was saying, I'm like, it's crazy they have, because I mean, you have comp picks now. Mm-hmm. You have, I mean, I'll send you a linebacker, you send me back a 7th, or you trade somebody and you throw in a 5th and get back a 6th. Like, how often those like late, like especially 5th, 6th, and 7th rounders are just thrown around. Like, they just get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like one pick in each round, nothing more, nothing less.
Exactly how it's supposed to be.
Go in there and do your thing.
All right, moving on. Our next one is the Chicago Bears, who get a flat B on the combined grade. Jay gave them a B plus. I gave them a B.
Yeah, I could probably even bump this up to an A minus. I love Luther Burden. He was my probably wide receiver 2 in this draft. I gave him an A in the second round. I gave him a B plus. About the same there. I loved is it Hippolyte out of Maryland, the fast kid?
Ruben Hippolyte.
I love speed. I see a guy like that, I'm like, get him on my team.
Number 401 on the consensus board.
Hey, fuck the consensus board. Trust your own board.
Hey, that's true. I mean, I have not actually flipped on the film of Hippolyte since the draft.
He's so fast.
Many people I respect have been like,
so this draft feels a lot like the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
So obviously Ben Johnson had a lot of say.
Coach has got a lot of say in this defense and offense.
I think he had more. I think he had more say in Detroit than people realize, because I know you love Colston Loveland, but I mean, I think a lot of people would have thought the Bears would have done something different there. I think that was a Ben Johnson pick. I think you invest 100%. In this kid. You get the guy you want at head coach. You do what he wants to do. You build the team he wants to build. I love the pick for that reason alone. And I mean, I also just love the kid too. I think he's going to be a stud, absolute stud in the league. But I like that they kind of just said they let Ben Johnson be Ben Johnson, and
yeah,
I think it's going to work.
No, I love the Colston Loveland pick. I was worried that they were going to take Tyler Warren, and I didn't know how that fit into anything because I felt like he's not the same player as Cole Kmet, but their skill sets are kind of redundant.
The same player as Cole Kmet.
Yeah, their skill sets are redundant. Like, I think he's going to be better than Cole Kmet, I think. But like also, they played the same inline tight end spot, so it's kind of like, what's the point of this?
Also, I heard
the move tight end spot, which is different, is going to offer different aspects about the running game and the passing game.
Have you heard anything about him playing Hippolyte at running back?
No.
Or was that just like a joke rumor?
I think that was just a joke. I think that was just a joke because they needed a running back badly, and they're everywhere, and they didn't take one until 7.
what do they call it? The RAS score or whatever it
Raz
is.
score, yeah.
His RAS score as a running back, I guess, was like up there with like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
But as a linebacker, he's like basically in the undraftable range.
Yeah. I mean, that would be something if they did that. I don't
Hey,
know about all that.
Ben Johnson. If Ben Johnson turns this guy into an All-Pro running back, and
hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
He goes out there and gets you 2,300 yards and 19 tutties next year. You're gonna be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see the vision.
I see the vision.
He's Jahmyr Gibbs. He's just never got to hold the ball in his hands before.
Yeah. With Luther Burden at pick 39, this was the shock of the draft for me. I was blown away by this. I did not expect this at all, regardless of him being on the board. He was our top player on the board at the time. But like on further my building the board project where we try to build the Bears draft board, he was staring us in the face as the top guy. But like
I think this
just
screams
didn't
that
think they'd do it.
I don't think Ben Johnson has a whole lot of respect for DJ Moore right now.
No. You know what my comp for Luther Burden was?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
Yeah.
This screams, DJ, you better fucking block this year.
You know who my comp
give a
for,
shit about running your routes and being on time and doing shit right, because if you
know
don't,
who
you got your replacement right here.
You know who I think Luther Burden reminds me of?
Who?
Amon-Ra St. Brown. I thought he did.
I mean, there's some aspects you could see. I think that he's got a bit more physical gifts and a bit less every snap dog in him. A lot less every snap dog in him, if I'm being honest.
But he has the dog in him. Missouri. Did you watch his tape from 2 years ago or just last year?
Last year.
Go watch his tape from 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think you can get Amon-Ra St. Brown to take it down a notch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but
so
I think,
to me, that's
I think
a
you
big
can get him. Yeah, I mean, he's probably the most doggiest dog of dogs when it comes to wide receiver. I mean,
yeah. Now don't get me wrong. I think Burden is a dog. Like, if there's one word to describe the Bears draft class, it's violent in my mind. Like they wanted violence. And they got it because the Bears roster is full of too many nice guys. They needed some guys who will start some fucking fights, and they got it.
Yeah.
And like Ozzie Trapia
at
56, I thought was a bit of a reach. Also interesting, I thought this is pretty pointed at Braxton Jones in my mind of like, better get out on that field, buddy. You better stay healthy.
They called out. I think they called out a lot of guys on the roster with this draft.
And Shamar Turner, I was low on him. He wasn't even in my top 100. I gave this one a C-, but you know what? Typically I would give someone this with this far difference on my board versus where they took him like a D, but I respect the pick because Shamar Turner is just a motherfucker. I don't think he's very good at football, but he will punch you in the throat.
Was he one of the 5 stars at A&M that didn't work out?
He might have been a 5-star. I don't remember. But
this was the draft of the #1 recruiting class of all time.
A&M
signed like 7 5-stars.
He might. I think he was a 5-star, but he was a defensive end who got moved into defensive tackle because they got Nick Scorton in the transfer portal. So he's a bit of a tweener. You know, he's like somewhere between 275 and 290, depending on what position you want him at. He doesn't really have the bend to play outside. He doesn't really have the mass to play the run inside. But in Dennis Allen's scheme that's so multiple, I think you can make that work. And this dude is just going to start some fights in the middle of the defense, which you kind of need. So, like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I like the draft overall. I mean, I think this draft, the best way I can describe it is just statement.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I gave it a B. I think they did well. There was a few things I would do differently, but like generally for what they wanted, which was violence, like I think they got it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We are on to the Carolina Football Panthers. Not to be mistaken with the Carolina Hockey Hurricanes, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep.
Jay gave them a B-. I gave him an A-. I liked Carolina's draft a lot.
So I thought I was going to like Tataroa McMillan. And then I started listening to some guys that I really respect in the NFL world. And they started talking about,
What, that he doesn't like watching tape?
no, so like, I think it was Todd McShay talking about, he was like, Ted McMillan is my number 7 wide receiver on the board. I wouldn't take him to day 3. I think Daniel Jeremiah said something about that as well. And they're like 2 of the guys that I think do a great job at evaluation. I started looking more into it. And I'm not nearly as high on Tech McMillan as I was pre-draft. I think they're correct. I think what was it 4 years ago whenever I was on the bus train on Drake London, probably should have saved it for this. I think I'm back on the bus train for big body wide receivers, especially this early. Everything I said about Drake London, I was wrong about. I think I'm going to be correct about for Ted McMillan.
Oh, I think you might be correct on Ted McMillan. I gave the pick an A-, and that's purely just because Carolina needs a receiver, and there was one receiver who had the physical skill set that made you say, that works.
Yeah, and in this draft and everything, like, we'll talk about it when we get to the Giants and some other teams, especially on the top 10. If you can't move, you can't move. And if you can't move, go out there and take what you think is going to make your team the best version of itself. Mm-hmm. And in that aspect, fine. So it's hard to judge there.
I will say
that's where my C comes from. I think. Mm-hmm. I think maybe you try a little harder to trade down, but if you can't trade down, you can't trade down. You have a guy in Bryce Young who played well down the stretch last year. Go get him a big body guy. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But hey, who else were they going to take right here?
If Tet went somewhere where he wasn't going to get his opportunities, I'd be more worried about him. I think you will keep him pretty engaged because he's going to be your clear top dog option in this offense. And really, I was kind of out on Tet after some of the stuff that, like, some of the videos that came out of him being like, yeah, I don't watch tape. I don't even like watching football. Like, and it's like, if you don't like watching football, it's like, I can get past that. But it's to be like, I don't watch tape.
Yeah.
That won't fly. But if he's the number one option, I think that he will get volume. And I think that he will help Bryce Young.
Yeah, it's funny when you hear Gronk say it and you're like, oh, well, one of the greatest tight ends of all time. But he had Tom Brady.
Gronk watched fucking tape.
Oh, I know. But I'm saying, like, another pick that we both didn't like, Trevor Etienne out of Georgia. Was this a legacy pick? What are we doing here?
I don't understand what the hell they did here.
He wasn't good at Georgia. Where did he start school?
I don't even remember.
Florida State, maybe.
Clemson? Did
he transferred to Florida
like his brother?
No, I think he started at Florida or Florida State.
I think Florida. I think Florida.
Transferred into Georgia, and it was supposed to be a big deal. He wasn't good at Georgia. He couldn't ever. I don't know. I thought that was a terrible pick.
There were a bunch of other running backs available at 124 or 114 as well.
I do like both doubling down on D-line and going Scorton and Umana Milan.
2 players that I think are great value. There were some character questions with Princely, but at 77, do it. I mean, I think Princely's a first-round talent.
I would be willing to actually upgrade both of those to an A.
Yeah.
And then I'll give Jimmy Horn a B in the 6th round. I love his speed coming out of Colorado. I loved his playmaking ability. I thought he would probably go earlier than that. So, I like Jimmy Horn a lot too.
Damn. Okay. So They're moving up to a B plus for us. They're one of our favorite classes. Then
Yeah, I didn't like the Tech pick, but now I didn't. This is one team I didn't look at too closely until just now. So yeah, I didn't like the Tech pick. I didn't like the Trevor Etienne pick, but everything else,
Mitchell Evans is a steal. I think Mitchell Evans is
Yeah.
going to be a really good tight end in the league for a long time. Like nothing
Hey,
special, but like a Jake
you can't-
Ferguson type. Like I think he's just going to do that.
You'll never convince me that taking a tight end out of Notre Dame is a bad idea.
All right, let's move this along to those freaking Dallas Cowboys, man.
All right, yeah,
We both gave him B's here.
yeah. Starting out with Tyler Booker, so bit of a reach, but we've kind of talked about it already. If you can't move back, you can't move back, and if you can't move back, go get your guy. I think Schottenheimer is just going to want to run the shit out of the football. Obviously, I mean, they didn't go get any help at wide receiver. They didn't really get a whole lot of help at running back. I mean, I know they got Jay Blue. But with Miles Sanders and Pookie there, I mean, it seems like this is going to be a running football team. Tyler Booker is the embodiment. If you want somebody to run the fucking football, you go get Tyler Booker. Dude's got feet in concrete, but you can't move the son bitch, and he can move you. You can run past him, but if you're running past him, the running back's running past you. So what do you do there? They have the great wall of Tyler. They have Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith, Tyler Guyton. With Cooper Beebe last year, I mean, this team, I mean, they are built to run the fucking football without a running back.
Gap, they're built to just hammer gap concepts all game long. Like
Travion, if they could have found a way to get back up, I mean, they had all these 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks that they traded and everything. How do you not go up in late first and go grab a Travion Henderson or a Quinshon Judkins? I don't know. But Donovan Azaruko led the nation in sacks for FBS last year. I think this kid's an absolute dog.
He is. But he's also
edge.
like 240 pounds and has no power to his game. That's the only reason it's a B plus for me and not an A, because I have questions about how he fits into that defense that Matt Eberflus is going to run.
Yeah, and then I actually like Revel a lot too out of East Carolina. You give him an A, I'll give him a B there. I think he's just a solid pick. I think with the running backs that were available there, I would have liked to see running back out of them. But going to get Jaden Blue in the 5th, not having a 4th round pick for the 2nd year in a row for the Cowboys. They gave up a 4th round pick for Trey Lance. They went on to fuck them in the draft. They gave up a 4th round pick for Jonathan Mingo.
Carolina Panthers legend.
Yeah, in case you forgot, they didn't have a 4th round pick in this draft because of fucking Jonathan Mingo. So they go and take Jaden Blue in the 5th, which is fine. We were talking about the other day. I mean, I think he tries to get too cute. I think he misses his gaps.
Probably does.
Do you think he has the ability to get outside?
I mean, I think
he has the ability to get outside.
Yeah, I think on outside runs, he has no problem finding that corner and hitting it. It's his often he bounces inside runs out.
Yeah, I think he just gives up on it. And then they go take another running back out of Clemson later on, which is fine. I guess double up when you can. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, Shamar James, I thought was a good pick out of Florida. We'll see. I mean, we don't know what this Dallas Cowboys team is going to look like under Schottenheimer. We don't know what the defense is going to look like under Eberflus. So they just seem like they're in purgatory right now. I think they're going to go out there and win 9 or 10 games, get knocked out first weekend of playoffs.
I kind of see that. I mean, I think someone was asking me the other day if it was like, I think it was like, how would you rank like Bears, Cowboys, Cardinals, Seahawks? And it was like, well, the teams who have the quarterbacks or Seahawks and Raiders were in there too. It's like, well, the teams who have the quarterbacks have to go higher, right? Like if Dak Prescott's
Yeah.
healthy, the Cowboys are just going to win games. That's how the NFL.
Yeah,
works.
I mean, when Dak Prescott's healthy, he wins 12 games. Like, I don't think they're going to have an issue winning games. I just don't know how competitive they are for actual championships.
Yeah. But moving this along, I will move on over to Tennessee Titans. We gave them a B overall. Let's see. I gave them a B plus. Jay gave them a B. Cam Ward, I gave the pick a B plus. It's fine. You know, he was consensus board rank 8th. You took a quarterback number 1. It makes sense. I don't think he's an outstanding quarterback prospect, but he's a first round talent. You got him. It's fine. B plus. I can't give that an A though. Oluwafemi Oladejo, pick 52. I gave this an A minus. I love Femi. This dude is so fun to watch. He's just an absolute animal. Has barely played any defensive end, but was actually, I thought, pretty good at it. Pick 82, Kevin Winston, the safety out of Penn State. Big fan of this kid's game. I think he has a lot to iron out still, but the physical traits are just they're different. He coming off the torn ACL. I think this guy might, if he stayed in school another year, he might be a first round pick next year. I really like his game. Chimere Dickey at 103. I thought this was a pretty rough reach, and based on the consensus board, it looks like one. Sitting at 203 on the consensus board, they took him at 103. But I liked the Gunnar Helm and like Amanor additions, and overall that comes out to a B plus for me.
Yeah, I didn't love Cam Ward. I thought he was probably quarterback 3 or 4 in last year's draft, taking him number 1 overall.
Easily.
But you just got to do what you got to do. We talked about it plenty of times already for this draft. So, and then after that, I feel like you just got to build your team the best you can. I think they went out there and they got some pieces to try to help out. A number 1 overall draft pick. I mean, they went wide receiver, tight end, wide receiver in the 4th round. I think that's good. And then build your defense up a little bit. Yeah, I thought they did fine.
Yeah.
For what they had, I thought they did fine.
Solid all around. Now, looking at the New York Giants, this was an interesting one for them. Yes. I gave them a B plus. You gave them a C plus.
Yeah. So we have different opinions.
Well, I mean, I'm high on 4 of their picks, but I'm very low on 3 of their picks. So like, it's very volatile here. Yeah.
So Abdul Carter, and I guess this is basically a clear sign that Kayvon Thibodeau is not going to be there long term. You just took him 7th overall a couple years ago, so I mean, I guess if he doesn't have a future on the team, you go out and you get a stud. You already paid Brian Burns. You got Dexter Lawrence there.
Probably trade Thibodeau, honestly. See if they can move him.
Yeah, if they can. So I get it. Best player on the board, 3rd overall. If you can't move, you can't move. I just feel like if you're a Giants fan and you don't give anybody a big board or anything, and you just ask them, we have a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. What do you want? I think D-line might be about 5th or 6th on positions that you'd be like, oh, dude, if we can get this or if we can get this, I mean, stud lineman, quarterback. Yeah, I mean, but Abdul Carter's fucking great. Might be the best player in the draft.
That's why it's an A plus for me. You had the 3rd pick and you got the best player in the draft. Like, I mean, I don't even care about position at that point. I think you got a game changing potential Hall of Fame talent. Like, you do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's gonna be a stud. I thought it was hilarious that he wanted to wear 56, and Lawrence Taylor was like, "No, go get your own number." I love that from Lawrence Taylor, like, because like the day before they had the big day where Warren Moon welcomed kid from Miami, Cam Ward, in
Yeah.
Tennessee, and he was like, "I want you to wear number 1, passing of the torch." It was like, "Oh, such a feel good story. He's gonna wear Warren Moon's number," and then
Warren Moon
like
never played in Tennessee.
he did not. That is very true. And then you hear the story, almost immediately after, of Abdul Carter being like, "Yeah, I want to wear 56 in New York." Lawrence Taylor's like, "Nope, get your own fucking number." Just love that. The Jackson Dart pick. This seems okay. So if you're the ownership, you didn't fire your GM, you didn't fire the coach. A lot of people thought you were going to fire your GM and your coach.
You know what? This is an F. You convinced me. That's all you needed to say.
Yeah. But you're going to let a GM and a coach that seemingly are on their last leg mortgage more of your future to go out and get a guy. And don't get me wrong, I think out of all the coaches in the league, they might have the best, if not a top 5 head coach when it comes to developing quarterback. So trust him in his evaluation if he likes a guy. But just
How much can you trust that guy when he's desperate, though?
Exactly. And if your ownership, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. It just seems like such a desperate pick, and I didn't love it. You can change it to an F for me too. I didn't like Jackson Dart at all.
Like I see the traits, and I've been saying for a few years, like every time I'd watch Ole Miss, like Jackson Dart, if he can figure a few things out, he might be.
He's got a great name,
legit prospect, but
if
he never figured it out.
If his name was like Jordan
Smith,
Jordan Smith, as he is highly rated, because Jackson Dart's a cool fucking name.
It is
like
JAXSON. Yeah, that's like
blessed Dart as a quarterback.
Yeah. Although I do have to say, there's one thing that like
blonde haired, blue eyed
with quarterbacks,
big body,
is when they have the like war paint eye black. It's like, bro, you're a quarterback.
Yeah,
come on, what are you doing here?
Well, you play at night in the SEC. I mean, it helps with the glare, especially if you're white.
Right, but like war paint, you're a quarterback, man. Just put the eye strips on and be like, okay, we're good.
Oh yeah, I thought you were saying just in general, like any
where it's like smeared all over your face, like it's
yeah.
like, what are you doing here, man?
I was about
if you're a D tackle, I get it. If you're in the trenches, I get it. But you're a quarterback, no.
No, I feel that. Absolutely. Marcus Embo, we both love this kid out of Purdue.
Marcus, I think it's actually just pronounced Bo. Marcus Bo.
Bo. Yeah, I really like this kid a lot. Don't like this Cam Scottaboo pick.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. 105. That's right where I had him. Like,
I don't like him as a player. I thought he had a great game against Texas, but as great as the game was against Texas, if you're gassed in the third quarter, thrown up on the sidelines in a college game against college kids,
didn't he have like food poisoning, or was that just a cop
out? Never came out. That was a rumor. There were rumors that he got drunk, and they were like, "No, he doesn't even drink." But that was it. They never said he had food poisoning or anything else.
Well, either way, like, so I watched every game I watched of Scatabo. It was like,
did you watch the Texas Tech game?
I watched a handful of them. I don't remember.
67 yards.
I watched like 390 games in the last 4 months, so it's hard to remember which ones for who exactly. But Cam Scatabo, like, the trend I noticed in all his games was like the first quarter really wasn't very effective. Second quarter, he starts to peak into average. Third quarter, a little above average. Fourth quarter, he's really fucking good. He's just wearing teams down. And in the NFL, I don't think he's going to get enough touches to wear teams down.
Yeah, he's like Derrick Henry. But 10% the athlete.
Yeah. Yeah. Now the pick before him, 65. I loved the Darius Alexander pick. I mean, he's about to turn 25, but this dude's a beast.
I think we're just going to see more 23, 24, and 25-year-olds in the league coming in as rookies. I think that's just something you're going to have to get used to.
Yeah. Well,
So,
the last
I
two
wouldn't
defensive tackles to come out that age have been pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, you're a grown ass man coming in. I mean,
Yeah.
your body is you're basically at what your body is at that point.
You're kind of at
So
your
you don't-
ceiling,
you don't
but
have-
like that's fine.
I wouldn't even say you're at your. I think you can get better, but you know what your frame is at that point. It's not like you're bringing in a 20-year-old kid and being like, "Hey, we want you to slim down to this, or we want you to get up to this." You're bringing a 24-year-old kid. You basically know what you're getting in the frame. You could tweak the diet a little bit and be like, "Oh, we're gonna drop a little fat, build a little muscle, or vice versa." But yeah, I didn't hate that. I mean, I didn't like Jackson Dart. I didn't like Scatabo.
I like Thomas Fedone a lot. I think he was a 5-star tight end at Nebraska. Like he had some knee issues that I think are a big reason why he dropped. But like, I mean, hey, shoot for that upside in the 7th round. That's a great upside shot.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens. A little lower than the consensus grade on them. We both have a B.
Yeah, I would probably give their first round pick Malachi Starks. I'd probably actually give them an A right there. It just seems like that's just another team. It's just like they did it again. A guy like that just falls to him. I think he's the embodiment of Baltimore. And yeah, I think it's just an absolute steal. He's a freak athlete, and he goes out there.
Actually, I guess people think he's a better athlete than he tested. His testing was pretty mediocre, actually.
Oh yeah, his testing wasn't good. Amonawari, I guess, was the freak athlete.
Yeah.
Testing.
Yeah.
Starks was just all over the field. He's basically Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton had a horrible testing at the combine and went from being like a consensus top 5 to like
safety's
19.
Safety's a spot where testing just isn't that important. Ultimately, I mean, it's such an instinct-based position that, like, you know, sure you want them to be as fast as possible, but like a lot of them aren't, and they can still be really good.
Yeah, but I mean, you throw on the tape, and this kid's all over the field, and him and Kyle Hamilton are going to be an absolute stud duo for a long time. Mike Green, I don't think
with Starks. Let me touch on that. I actually didn't like his tape very much. I had a really hard time finding what exactly it is that he does well. I'm a little worried that he's a master of none, like jack of all trades, but he doesn't actually do anything all that well outside of playing nickel corner. He's a pretty good nickel corner. But in the situation in Baltimore, he's going to be good. Like they have so much around him. I think he's in a great position for him to just be a versatile kind of weapon and not have to excel at anything in particular.
And then Mike Green, I don't think anybody's questioning why he fell there. Everybody knew he was a great player. We don't got to talk about that. Emory Jones out of LSU, not the Emory Jones that played quarterback at OU.
His son.
Two different guys.
Yeah, this is Emory Jones Jr., his son.
Yes. Probably not, but yes.
This is my guy, man. I love Emory.
Yeah,
Jones.
I know you love this guy.
I love Emory Jones. I love this pick for the Ravens. This dude's going to be starting for the Ravens in like a year or two. I bet you, because he has so many physical tools. He's nasty as all get out. The dude clearly loves football. Everyone was way too low on him in this process. Like Consensus Sports says 98 here. That must have been late rising. This dude hasn't been talked about in the top 150 for months. Like, so I love this pick. I'm glad they finally got up boards to where he belongs. I had a late 2nd, early 3rd round grade on him. I think that he offers a ton of versatility and a ton of athleticism.
Yeah, no, he's an absolute stud at LSU. I like that LSU line last year in totality. Seems like the Justin Tucker reign in Baltimore is gone.
Maybe.
Tyler Loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like whenever you have a kicker that's in the news for anything other than being a kicker, probably best to move on from them
Probably. It's a good call.
and get out of Arizona. I mean, they get the top kicker on the board. They might have reached a little bit, but they had a shit ton of picks.
Yeah, we
And
both gave him F's here, but like I mean honestly, it's a 6th-round pick. I mean, maybe I'll move that up to a D.
yeah, you can move it up to a D for me too. Might as well. Yeah, I mean, then they might have the greatest kicker of all time right now on their roster, but didn't have the greatest season last year, and didn't have the greatest off well, that wasn't even off season, was it? Or that dropped during the season? All the shit
That
about
was in
him
the season.
and the season. Maybe that's why he kicked so bad. But either way, yeah, probably best to move on from that situation. But if there's a team that can handle a little bit of off the field adversity, it's probably the Baltimore Ravens with their history. So who knows? Outside of that, do you have anything that stands out here?
Aeneas Peebles might be the steal of the draft.
Aeneas Peebles.
At 210 out of Virginia Tech. He was at Duke before that. This dude is just an animal. Like he's like 275 pounds. He's going to be a pass down only guy. Maybe play some 5-tech defensive end or like 4
That's what they need.
stuff. But like he's an animal. He is so freaky fast with his hands. He's just a problem. He's just a fucking problem, and I love his tape so much.
Got to figure out.
It's a weird fit in
how
the
to get
NFL, but he's gonna figure it out. I believe that.
Got to find ways to get to the quarterback in the playoffs.
Yep. Beyond that, let's get to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll's doing some stuff in Vegas.
Just doing something. All right. So you love the Genty pick. I love Genty the player. This maybe I'm underestimating this team as a whole, and maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, this just feels like Saquon to the Giants. I don't love going out and getting the best running back on a bad team. It's not going to fix you in the NFL today. You go put the best running back on a good team, it can turn you into a Super Bowl champion. I mean, look at the Eagles. So that's my gripe with Genty here. But just like we've talked about with all these teams in the top 10, what else do you do?
Yeah, I gave him an A+ for Genty, and a big part of that is Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, this team is going to be feisty as hell this year. I believe that. I believe Geno Smith is going to win football games. And I think Genty's going to be a big part of that. I think Pete Carroll he's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time. And that is factoring into my grade here. If they were in a rebuild, this wouldn't be an A+. But they are not in a rebuild in their minds. And with Pete Carroll at the helm, I don't think they are. I think Pete Carroll's gonna win some games.
A kid that I wasn't as high on until recently is Jack Bash. His brother played at Stanford, and he got ran over on New Year's Eve in New Orleans.
He has like 3 different uncles who walked on it. Ole Miss, or at LSU. Yeah, he has 3 uncles who walked on at LSU. One of whom won a natty for Nick Saban, which is weird. You'd think after the second one, they'd be like, "We'll just give the third a scholarship." You don't like. We know how good you guys are.
That's what Mac Brown used to do. I mean, he gave all the legacy guys scholarships. He gave Kevin Vaccaro, Kenny Vaccaro's little brother, a scholarship. He gave Jackson Shipley a scholarship. He gave Case McCoy a scholarship.
I'm just saying, after players. 2 straight walk-ons, like, I think they'd give the third. Like, they'd be like, we'll trust you on this one.
Especially, it's crazy that they didn't. But no, I'm a little bit higher on him. I mean, he seemed like he had I liked his tape, but I didn't love it. I don't think he has the upside of some of the other guys, but I think he can go out there and be a fine player. I think he complements Geno Smith very well, though.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jack Bash here. I gave this pick a B. I think this is right about where he should have gone.
Yeah, Caleb Rogers, dog, still a draft.
Yeah, Caleb Rogers. This is one of the best picks in my mind because I actually went out on more of a limb with my O-line ranking saying Caleb Rogers is a top 100 pick because he wasn't considered one. And so I was very happy to see him go here because I was like,
Yeah.
vindication, you know?
Yeah. I don't know anything about the kid out of Montana State, but
Tommy,
go
yeah.
take a quarterback in the 6th round.
Yeah.
Geno Smith's your quarterback.
I love the JJ Pegues pick. This dude is just a freaky athlete. Just take a chance on that in the 6th round. That makes all the sense in the world to me. Darian Porter is a weird pick. I didn't quite know how to grade this because I didn't think he was getting out of day 2 because he's like a perfect 10 RAS score, like just a disgustingly freaky athlete who has barely played any football in 5 years at Iowa State. Like it's just really, he was a converted wide receiver after his sophomore year to cornerback, primarily played special teams until his super senior year when he finally gets the chance to really play corner. And
Iowa State gets some sneaky, like, freak athletes.
Good. Like his tape isn't like that convincing, but like you see the freaky athletic traits. So like, I don't know, it's a weird, but like if anyone's going to get out of him, it's Pete Carroll. So like,
yeah, I love what this. A lot of upside in this draft. I think that they might have the most upside out of any draft.
All right, let's move this on to Seattle for our next one.
Speaking of Pete Carroll,
yeah,
Gray Zabel, one of my favorite picks in the draft, can play all 5 positions. North Dakota State dog. Throw him out there on offensive line. Amon Awari, consensus. Best safety on the board. I guess you could argue that it was Starks. You didn't like the pick. I don't mind the pick.
I don't think Nico Manwari is very good at football. And I don't think athletic traits are that important at safety.
Yep.
So I sit here and say, why am I taking this kid that high if I don't like his instincts and I don't think athletic traits are that important here?
Fair argument.
He's an awesome run defender. Like his run defense is really fun. He can cover horizontally extremely well against.
You know who runs the ball?
He's always a step slow. Always a step slow in coverage.
You know who likes to run the ball? Everybody in their division.
Everybody in their division, yeah. He can be a hammer. He can be a hammer, but I just don't think you need to take a hammer at 35.
Yeah. Let's see. David Martinez. I might have given this an A+ as well. I saw that you gave him an A+. I love this kid out of Miami. He was, what was he? Was he Washington State year before
Washington State.
Yeah,
I can't believe he fell this far. I cannot. Like there must be some serious red flags in his background for him to fall this far because he's too good to be here.
I feel like it might just be longevity and carries and stuff like that. And age, maybe. I don't. Running back's so hard to judge.
I really wanted the Bears to draft Damian Martinez. Like, really wanted him.
Him and the kid out of Oklahoma State both.
Ollie Gordon was the other guy I really wanted for the Bears. He went 4th round, though. Like, he went about where I thought he would. Yeah,
but not a whole lot stands out to me here. Jalen Milroe, maybe.
Yeah. I like Elijah Arroyo a lot out of Miami. I like Bryce Cabledew for a 6th round pick. I think that makes a lot of sense. He's a pretty nasty offensive lineman who looks the part.
I think if they still had DK, Jalen Milroe would be awesome. I think Jalen Milroe throws one of like the prettiest deep balls ever.
Yeah.
But with Jackson Smith and Jigba, I don't know how that translates. But I mean, you got to hope that maybe in 2 or 3 years, Jalen Milroe can develop into a quarterback, and then you're not having to either repay Sam Darnold another $100 million or figure it out from there. So we'll see. But I mean, if Jalen Milroe can sit there behind, if he can truly sit for 3 years, I think he could be a stud because I do think he has all the traits. Monster arm, very athletic.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't watch much quarterback this year, but like his athleticism is different, and in the 3rd round, like I think that's fine to bet on. All right, so next up, we got
especially when you have a quarterback that hopefully gives you 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, hopefully. We got the Detroit Lions, and I gave them a B. You gave them a B-.
Yeah, I could update the Tyreek Williams pick to an A. I told you real time I love that pick,
For them, I think that is exactly what they needed. I
especially with
love
Illy
Tyreek for
McNeil
them.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's at this point in the Dan Campbell era, you almost have to just give Detroit at minimum like an A minus, B plus. We didn't, but I mean, are you telling me if Ahmad Hassanan isn't getting 8 sacks a year, 2 or 3 years down the road, you're going to be shocked? Like I'm not going to be shocked. Or if one of these receivers they took all of a sudden like breaks out, or Tate Ratledge becomes an all like
Tate
anything.
Ratledge and Miles Frazier will be starting for them in 2 years and be a very good offensive guard combo. Miles Frazier, I don't know why he fell, but his tape is too good to be a 5th round guy in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, this just seems like Dan Jackson, honestly.
Dirty
DB.
Dan Jackson. I love Dirty Dan Jackson.
DB in Detroit named Dan Jackson just fits.
Dirty Dan Jackson. That is
Dirty
that
Dan
is
Jackson.
Detroit Lion. Like,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah, no. I don't love this draft, but who am I to doubt the Detroit Lions at this point?
Right. Like, I honestly, if it wasn't for the Isaac Tesla trade up, like this draft would be pretty highly ranked in my numbers. But the Isaac Tesla trade up really knocks it down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Which, again, who are we to question Dan Campbell and his wisdom? All right, next up we have the Minnesota Vikings of
Back-to-back NFC North teams.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like Donovan Jackson. Don't love Donovan Jackson.
I thought it was a reach. I like Donovan Jackson a good amount.
Yeah.
I
don't have a lot of
think
picks.
he has the shit. Like, I think he's going to be a good guard in the NFL for a long time. I just don't know if he's ever going to be like a all-pro Pro Bowl guy. And at 24, like, I kind of want that upside.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of picks here, so you go and you get who you like. Well, they had 5 picks in total.
Yep.
I think if you can't find trade partners, you just take who you like.
Yeah, there's really just the story of a lack of volume here. Like, Ty Felton is a bit of a reach at 102, I thought, but like I still gave it a C plus because like it's not that bad.
You're not picking again until 140. So
yeah,
if you like Ty Felton and nobody's willing to work with you, you take Ty Felton.
I thought Kobe King was a good pick at 201 because just for pure value because he's got a lot of the traits, but
you can
like this draft is very.
Let's pump up Gavin Bartholomew to a C minus for me off name alone.
Okay. It is a great name.
Yeah, there we go. There you go, Gavin. I believe in you. You're not a D player.
Keeps it at the same grade, though. For overall, you gave him a B.
Overall,
I gave him a B minus.
Yeah. But now he's in the yellow.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we have the Jim Harbaugh led San Diego Superchargers of Los Angeles.
Oh man, the fans about to get mad at me. Yeah,
and I gave him a B. You gave him a B minus.
Yeah, Omari Hampton. I know it. Harbaugh wants nothing more than just to run the fucking football.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love
Trey Lance is just their running quarterback.
Yeah, it could be any day now. I didn't love the Najee pickup.
I love that for them. I think that's a great fit for them.
See, I would have rather just kept who was their guy last year?
Dobbins.
Yeah, I would have rather just kept Dobbins.
I don't know. I just think Najee brings you so much power to that. Like they want to lean into. Like they want to bruise people, and Najee will bruise people.
So will Omari Hampton.
Yes, so will Omari and Hampton, but he might actually be efficient at it.
Well, just because he's got fresher legs, I feel like Omari and Hampton is not.
He's never had that speed.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
I got burned on Najee that draft. I liked him too much, and then like it was like he got to the NFL. I was like, you're too slow.
Yeah. But I mean, this draft it's just Harbaugh. And the thing about a Harbaugh draft is that he's gonna hit on 3 guys, and those 3 guys could be like a 5th, 6th, and 7th, and you could be like, oh, they killed it. And then you go back and look at like what they did earlier in the draft, you're like, oh, there's not a single starter here. But he'll always find guys. But you just don't know who those guys are.
Yeah.
You have a guy like Keandre Lambert Smith, a guy with 3 names, might as well not even have one.
I think RJ Mickens might be a dude for them eventually.
Yeah, sounds like a Harbaugh guy.
And I really like
Trequezi Bridges.
I like Trey Harris a lot, their 2nd round pick. I think he's a dog.
Yeah, I mean they need a receiver.
Yeah, and Jamari Caldwell at Oregon at 86, like I think that value is fine, and I think this dude is one of the best run stuffers in the draft from a pure like you just can't move this dude standpoint. He's weird though, like this dude played edge for Houston at like 340 pounds.
Somebody's got to do it.
Like it's wild, it's bizarre, and then like you see, this was his first year ever playing nose tackle at Oregon, and he was using his hands like an edge rusher. It was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing all this? Just go forward. Just plug the hole. And he could, but it was like he had to adjust to it. It was weird.
Also, the Branson Taylor pick just feels like Harbaugh is like, ain't no way we're getting out of this draft without an alignment. Like, I don't care who it is. Just take Branson Taylor.
Sounds like my kind of Branson Taylor's a great O-line name.
He was like, I don't care who you take. And he just looked at the board and didn't know nothing about him. He was like, just fucking Branson Taylor, then you can go get your safeties.
All right. So after that, we have the Miami Dolphins, who I don't know. I feel like I'm alone on this, but I do not like Kenneth Grant, and I think they way overdrafted Jonas Savaiinaea.
Oh yeah, you can give Kenneth Grant a big old D- for me.
Woo.
I must have missed this one. DT out of Michigan at 23. Kidding me? Bust.
All right, so that moves your grade down to a straight up C.
Yeah, I don't love it. Ollie Gordon, I like. Quinn Ewers, I like.
Yeah, I like some of their later round stuff, but like the early, like I mean, Savaiinaea's. I don't know. I'm alone on this. Everyone loves Savaiinaea, but I feel like
I don't know nothing
you
about
can
him.
get both Grant and Savaiinaea fit into this book. Or I guess Grant doesn't, but Savaiinaea does, where you can get kind of blown away by a guy who moves really well for his size, but it doesn't mean he moves really well. And like I don't know, I didn't love the foot speed that I saw from Savaiinaea, and some of it was he was playing tackle. Really, the biggest thing with Savaiinaea for me was a guy that big should be jolting people back and really just destroying people, and he doesn't. And that and it's the same with Kenneth Grant. He should be doing it more consistently than he does, and it just bugs the shit out of me that he doesn't.
Yeah. Who's this kid out of Georgia Tech? Zeke Biggers?
Great nose tackle name.
Love him.
He's got some really nice traits. He's not very good at football right now, but like he's got some really fun traits. In the 7th, I'll bet on that.
I mean, goodness gracious. You have Zeke Biggers. You have Ollie Gordon, Quinn Ewers, Dante Trader. Did they have like the best day 3 of all time with these names?
Dante Trader was like a 2-sport athlete at Maryland. He's like a star lacrosse player.
I love it. Yeah.
And then Jordan Phillips, I think, has a ton of upside as a nose tackle, burst. Like was like a state champion weightlifter or something in high school. Like again, another guy who's not very good at football right now, but like the upside is huge with him in my mind.
Yeah, I feel like we're about to see a big old change in that organization very, very soon.
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this draft class of guys.
All right, let's move on to our next team, the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, that's another team.
Small draft class and different.
Yeah, I mean, did they get a first round pick for trading back, or was that somebody else?
They traded out. I think they. What did they get?
There was 2 teams. Did they trade with Atlanta? Because Atlanta gave up their first next year to get.
Yeah, they traded with Atlanta,
Yeah,
which was a great move. So that kind of makes these grades weird because how do we incorporate that with the players they picked?
Yeah, Terrence Ferguson. You could almost upgrade that to. You're telling me I get Atlanta's first round pick next year? I'm not convinced Atlanta's not going to be a top 10 draft pick next year. But I don't know where. I don't know how you factor that into this draft.
Yeah, because I don't like Terrence Ferguson at 46 at all, but they got that pick, and that pick is really valuable. Michael Penix might suck.
Yeah. After what this team did last year, hey, you do whatever the hell you want in the draft.
You know what?
Fuck them first. Fuck them picks. Don't fuck them picks. I mean,
I'm just moving it up to an A. I don't even. Not that I like the Terrence Ferguson pick that much, but just to represent the trade, I'm moving that up to an A.
Yeah, you could almost say the same for me. I am fully bought in on this front office. The coaching staff obviously has been very good for a long time. I mean, half of his assistant coaches are head coaches in the league right now. But shit, after what they did last, and apparently we've heard it from Peter Schrager, we've heard it from Daniel Jeremiah, we've heard it from who else is talking about it? Maybe McShay, Jarquez Hunter. According to Les Snead and Sean McVay was like the guy that they could not get out of this draft without. Apparently, they love this guy more than they've loved anybody. Like Schrager was talking about how he was being told that if they had one pick in this draft and one pick only, they would have taken Jarquez Hunter.
I mean, from a pure football guy standpoint, I understand it. The guy is fast as all get out and runs like a hammerhead shark. Like he just wants to plow through everybody and has no caution for his own body. The only reason I was lower on him is his vision is questionable to me, and I don't think he has the frame to hold up running like that in the NFL. But this dude is a dog. He wants to run through everybody, and he's just small.
Yeah, I mean it's not like Kyron is. I mean that's how Kyron Williams.
No, but Kyron's built thick though. This dude is not built thick. Boy. Jarquez Hunter's slim, but he doesn't run like a slim boy.
Yeah, I was shocked. I thought they were. Whenever I still thought Shedeur was going to go in the first. I thought this would have been a prime pick for them, and then they trade back. But then you find out they got Atlanta's first next year, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, let's move it along to the New York Jets. Let's see.
They used to draft. They had 4 good drafts in a row and still haven't done anything.
Yeah, I gave him a C+. You gave him a B-.
Yeah, I'm a little bit higher on Mason Taylor. I liked him at LSU. Other than that, I mean, I think we're pretty much similar everywhere else.
Yeah, Mason Taylor just.
You like Malachi Moore out of Alabama?
Something sticks in my craw with Mason Taylor, man. You're telling me your dad is Jason Taylor, your uncle is Zach Thomas, and you look like you can't handle contact through a route, or you can't actually put any power into guy as a move blocker. I just don't like it. So for me, it's he was a top 100 pick to me. Probably a third rounder is where I saw him. But 47 was just too rich for a guy who I have some physicality questions.
Yeah, a little bit of a legacy pick.
Yeah, for sure. And hey, if someone's going to overcome physicality questions, it's going to be Jason Taylor's son and Zach Thomas's nephew.
Yeah,
that does make sense.
Tyler Barron out of Miami. I loved Tyler Barron 2 years ago at Tennessee. I thought he was going to be an absolute stud. He decides to hit the transfer portal and go to Miami. I don't know what happened after that. If he lost a love for football, he didn't look like the same guy. I thought he should have stayed at Tennessee. But if he could get back to what I saw 2 years ago, I think that could be a hell of a pick for him in the 5th round.
And you mentioned Malachi Moore earlier. I didn't say anything more on it. I think Malachi Moore is the best safety in this class.
There we go.
Right
on.
You're talking about a 5-year starter, 4 years with Nick Saban. Like, he can do it all. He can play any role for your safeties. He can play single high. There's not a ton of guys who feel confident playing single high coming out of college. Like, he's one of them in my mind. He has really good instincts in coverage at the safety position, and is just he has it all. Like, for my outside of size and elite athleticism, he has everything else that you want at safety. And I can harp on that again. I don't think those are massive things at safety.
Yeah. Another team that. So they have Garrett Wilson. Who's their other wide receiver? They have Breece Hall. No way that dude's still in the league.
Oh no, you can't kill him. Let's see here.
I just
Josh
feel like
Reynolds, Alan Lazard, and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is the quarterback. They're running.
I know Justin Fields is their quarterback, but yeah, Justin Fields, Breece Hall. Yeah, I guess that's enough. We'll see. I'm excited to see what this team does, especially under first-year head coach out of Detroit. So,
yeah,
I'm excited to see what he does with like a Tyler Barron though, because I love that. What is his name? The head coach in New York. From Detroit.
God, what is his name? I can't place it.
I know it. Oh man. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he does with some of these defensive guys. Because what he did with the defense in Detroit with nobody, just pulling guys off the street. God, dude, I'm excited to see what he does with this Jets defense.
Aaron Glenn.
Everybody knows Aaron Glenn.
All right, next up, we got the New Orleans Saints. I gave him a C+. You gave him a B-.
Yeah, Tyler Shuck might be the worst pick in this draft at 40 overall.
Outside, like in the second, I gave a D-. I came as close to an F without giving an F. Like I don't know. Maybe I'll just push down to an F. I think. Like I don't think he belongs there. Like I think that we watched
not at 40 overall.
We watched him like poop his pants, you know, like
for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I understand he had a decent year at Louisville, but like the ACC last year was probably the weakest the ACC has been in 20 years. It was weaker than any Big 12 he played in, and much weaker than anything he played at Oregon. And he was also 30 years old, and it was the first year he was healthy. But yeah, I mean I feel like that's just irresponsible at 40.
I liked the rest of their draft. It's just Shuck at 40 and Broughton at 71. I thought were bad picks. I think Broughton was a big reach and Shuck was a big reach, and that kills their grade for me.
Kelvin Banks was fine for me. I do love Devin Neal of the running back out of Kansas.
I'm okay with Neal. I think in the 6, I think Devin Neal is outstanding value. But I was a little lower on him than a lot of others through this process.
I was high on a lot of the running backs. He was one of the running backs I was high on. I liked it. But yeah, I can't get over
the Shuckster.
The Shuck. Yeah. No.
All right. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers. And you gave them a C+. I gave them a B-. This might be the most volatile grades we have for any team as far as like good, bad. Like,
yeah, for me at least. I didn't love Michael Williams that early, but like we've said a lot in this draft, I mean, I keep reiterating it. Like, if you can't move, take the guy you like. So
I liked Michael Williams, and I think that he's a great fit for the 49ers. So, like, that comes into play here, for me at least.
Yeah. And then Alfred Collins. I didn't like Alfred Collins at Texas. You did.
Oh, I love Alfred Collins tape. That dude's a brick
Yeah.
wall, man, and he has pass rush upside through the wazoo. If the 49ers defensive tackle coach just pulls him aside and like puts a hand on his shoulder, says, "Son, you're not an edge rusher. Stop trying to be one," and just gets him to rush with power, he's going to be really good. But like, it's so much of his tape at Texas, he's trying to win with finesse moves as a pass rusher, and it's like, it's not what you're out there for.
Yeah,
you're too big, you're too strong to be rushing like that. Use that power. He's a monster against the run.
Yeah, and they take Curtis Rourke in the 7th, another quarterback. Kid out of James Madison came with Kurt Signetti. Played with a broken leg, won a couple games. That feels like he's going to be an All-Pro and just come in and replace Brock Purdy day one. And Brock Purdy's never going to get an NFL contract, even though he played in the Super Bowl. Poor guy.
The best pick of the draft came out of Indiana this year. Not Curtis Rourke.
CJ West?
CJ West.
Yeah, another Kurt Signetti guy.
CJ West, Indiana went from one of the worst run defenses in college football to one of the best last year, and CJ West was the biggest reason why teams could not run A-gap runs on Indiana last year, and that's because CJ West was there. At 113, CJ West is the steal of the draft. This kid is an animal. His off-field stuff is all just like crystal clear, as green as it gets. I've heard that he's one of the best people that that
was he a James Madison guy? Or was he already there?
No, he's out of Mac school. I forget which one. But he's just CJ West rules. This dude has some pass rush upside that's still untapped, and I think he fell partially because of short arms, so he couldn't really go to two gapping teams. But like, he's gonna eat in San Fran. This dude is gonna be a monster.
Yeah, especially with them getting who's their defensive coordinator back from
Robert Saleh. Like Michael Williams, Alfred Collins, and CJ West is such a sick trio to add to any defense in the NFL right now. Like that is just sick, nasty, sick work.
Yeah, and then we were talking about it earlier about taking the trenches in the 7th. Just go get a guy out of Iowa. You give me a dart and I'll throw it at a board and take an offensive lineman out of Iowa in the 7th round.
Yeah, that's fine. I kind of didn't like Connor Colby's tape at all, but like in the 7th round, that's whatever. It's fine. I gave it a B. It works.
It's gonna be a UDFA. Just bring him in. So nobody else can get him.
Now, what was more egregious was Nick Martin at 75, Upton Stout at 100, and Jordan Watkins at 138. Those are just real head scratchers.
Yep.
But
I mean, they draft well and they had a shit ton of picks.
They don't draft well historically. Shanahan just works magic. Like it's really bizarre.
Well, it seems like they always just have guys come in out of nowhere too.
Yeah, but they're like their early to mid round picks are like they're not what hit that often. Like they're a weird drafting team. But moving on, we have Denver with our 3rd worst grade. You gave them a C+, I gave them a B-, and it is heavily, heavily buoyed by their 1st round pick, Jahdae Barron.
Yeah, I didn't love Jahdae Barron. You did.
I think his tape, I think that he covered, like he just took away half the field for Texas last year and was the best defensive back on the field. As much as I loved Mukuba, I thought Jahdae Barron just ate a ton of space on that defense where it was just like, don't throw over there. Why would you ever throw that side?
I feel like Igbuka kind of exposed him a little bit.
I'm not sure specifically. I don't remember.
I just remember watching that Ohio State game, and I wasn't watching closely enough to see assignments, but I just remember people catching the ball and Barron being there, and then they're scoring touchdowns, and he was in the area. So maybe
it could be a good or a bad thing. It's hard to like. I don't know. I don't remember.
I just remember seeing Ohio State guys and him being on the screen and Ohio State guys being in the end zone and him not making the play. But I could also go back and be like, oh, that wasn't his job.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just one of those things where it's just like in my mind. Because it could have also been like it wasn't his play and he was doing his best to go make the play. And then you just see it on TV, like the Baron on the back of the jersey and the guy scoring.
Yeah. Yeah.
It had nothing to do with him.
Broadcast view makes it so hard with cornerbacks to really know what happened. Cornerbacks and safeties both. And especially he played a lot almost like a safety. One of the concerns with him is there isn't much many press reps. He wasn't asked to do much press. But man, he just covered up a lot of ground in that defense. That was just like it forced the ball towards Mukuba at times, and like it was just like I was really impressed with Barron's range, even though I do have questions about his press man ability.
What did you think about RJ Harvey? I didn't think he was that. I didn't like him.
I love RJ Harvey. You know who I think RJ Harvey is? Jaylen Warren.
David Montgomery. Jaylen Warren.
His ceiling comp for me was Maurice Jones-Drew, but I think most likely he's probably just Jaylen Warren.
Maurice Jones-Drew, or David Montgomery a little bit.
No, you see, I think they're just like Monty's just he's such a different back because he has so much flexibility and so much bend and contact balance. Like. Where RJ Harvey is more like a pinball, like Maurice Jones-Drew was to me.
Maurice Jones-Drew deserves so much more respect on his name.
Hey, Maurice Jones-Drew rules.
So much fun.
I think that is a really lofty. That is a really lofty ceiling for RJ Harvey.
Oh, I wasn't saying you specifically. I'm just saying historically, like he's going to be a forgotten name in 20 years. And kids just the kids don't know.
Kids don't know.
You see him, and he's a big old butterball on NFL Network.
Yeah,
talking football, and it's just like God. Like remember when he lit up Sean Merriman? Just fucking killed him.
Yeah,
I love him.
Destroyed him, man.
I loved him, JD.
Yeah.
Is that the next team we have here? Is the Jags?
No, we have. Did we? Oh, we might skip the Jags.
There's no way the Packers are next.
No, we had Houston next. We might have skipped the Jags on accident. Let me get them up.
We had to.
They're in the middle.
I was going to say, we haven't talked Travis Hunter.
They're right in the middle.
I was wondering. I was like, what did you give the Jags? Because I gave Travis Hunter an A+.
I gave it like a B-, I think, but that's mostly because of the trade up. I think they gave a lot.
I don't agree. I'll give it A-. Yeah, so we'll run through this real quick. One of the best picks in the draft to me, Bashal Tutton, running back, Virginia Tech. Talking about still the draft earlier.
Tutton.
It's
Tootin, according to the Beast.
Tootin.
Which is better anyways. It's funnier.
To me, I love going up and getting Travis Hunter. You look at Trevor Lawrence and what he did at Clemson, and you go and get Brian Thomas Jr. last year, and you bring in a guy like Travis Hunter. It was the absolutely perfect complement to Brian Thomas Jr., the perfect 1-2 punch. Both big body guys. Trevor loves big body guys. They have a good tight end there with them. They go and get the running back for them. But then you have a difference maker on third down defensively. I don't know how much you play Travis Hunter on defense, but really? this dude's the dog of dogs. And I think he plays between 20% and 40% of defensive snaps. But I mean,
I think it's the opposite.
No, he's wide receiver 2 day one.
I just think it's easier to be part-time offense than part-time defense.
No, he is full-time wide receiver 2, I think.
Yeah. See, then I question if he's even going to play defense at that point.
No, He's a dog. I mean, this dude is the
Because I think he
doggiest of
becomes a
dogs.
tell. I think he becomes a tell if he. I think it's man coverage tell when he's out there.
I don't know, man.
Which maybe if it's all third downs or like red zone, who cares if it's a tell? You just kind of know. But like, I mean, I just think it's really hard for him to only play certain aspects of defense and have everyone on the same page.
Yeah, but I mean, teams don't really like shift out of nickel and dime so much these days. They just kind of move them around because that's where I see him.
So you see him as more like a safety.
Yeah, I don't know if you're moving somebody around, but you could throw. I feel like you could throw him anywhere in the defensive backfield. You could throw this guy at linebacker. Fucking let him rush the passer. I don't care. Get him on the field. Third down, second and long. Travis Hunter's on the field. You're not going to fucking throw his way.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have a hard time seeing a part-time corner like that. That's where I really struggle with the idea because it's easier to limit your offensive playbook for a specific player, and have a package for him on offense than just have a package on defense for him because
part-time defensive back.
The chemistry between the defensive backs needs to cohere well.
24 hours a day, 8 hours offense, 8 hours defense, 1 hour fishing, 7 hours sleeping. That's all you need.
Hey, if he can hold up for it, do it. Do it full time both ways at that point.
Yeah, fuck it. Travis Hunter is one of my favorite players I've ever watched, and I just love the kid. I think he's incredible. The dude just wants to fish and play ball. Like that is like the definition of my best friend.
Yeah. Hey, I like the pick. I like what they did. I just think there's too much risk involved with the picks they gave up for me to give it an A.
Oh, I don't agree. I think Gladstone knocks it out. I think he's going to change the sport of football.
Okay.
They said it in the press conference.
You mean when Gladstone looked like he'd been, railing Adderall for the last 4 days and like eyes as wide as like a cue ball, like
it still didn't compare to the who's the Jets coach No, yeah, well I thought he was going to drop the Duval at one point, honestly. But
Adam Gase. Adam Gase looked like he's just been railing lines for the back.
Oh my god, dude! Like if that happened today, people would say it was AI.
Yeah, 100%.
Like they would be like, "There's no way that was an NFL head coach." Just eyes as wide open as you can get, like staring at nothing. Or not even staring, like looking around, being like,
he was looking through walls, like,
yeah, yeah, dude. That dude was like looking into Pennsylvania from New Jersey.
But outside of Hunter, Jaguars got a few. Wyatt Milam was one of my guys this year. Jack Kaiser was definitely one of my guys in this class. So like they got some guys I really liked. I thought Caleb Bransaw at 88 was a pretty strong reach. But I mean, outside, I thought they did generally fine. They were right in the middle of our rankings, despite being at the end of the show. That's my bad for missing them. But I mean, I liked a lot of what they did.
I thought you were about to just hit them with a bunch of Fs. I was like, how have we not talked Jags yet?
That's my bad. They're like 15th or something on ours.
Yeah. Perfectly average.
Yeah. But so let's get back to the bottom dwellers here, down to Houston.
Who had the
Jay gave him a C plus. I gave him a C.
Offensive and defensive rookie of the year 2 years ago. I don't love what they're doing here. It seems like every week they're grabbing another wide receiver, and I think Nico Collins is an absolute dog, and I understand you have CJ Stroud there.
Tank Dell's leg is probably screwed. That's the way I'm.
Yeah,
Tank Dell's knee is just absolutely gone.
No, I understand that, and Mechie is there, and you lost Stephon Diggs, but I feel like management there, GM there is just they're just so like keyed in on wide receiver. Like Nico Collins is an absolute fucking dog, certified dog.
Mhm.
Like you don't have to just go get a wide receiver every 2 days just because. Like wide receiver at 2, wide receiver in the 3rd round. I thought they took another one. Graham Mertz, I thought was a terrible pick. The dude was dog shit at
Mhm.
Wisconsin. I didn't think Graham Mertz deserved to even be drafted. Just they're all over the place, and I think they've done well recently building their team, but then they go and trade Laramie Tunsil, who played well for them, but I mean he's very expensive. I get that salary capped league, but you do nothing to really replace that. You just go grab more wide receivers. That's not going to do anything for you. You have a 40-year-old Joe Mixon who's it's been 10 years since he broke a woman's jaw, so that's good. But like, who do you bring in? Jaquavius Marks, like don't
Woody.
love that.
Woody Marks, 196 on the consensus board. They traded up in the 4th round to go get Woody Marks. That was they gave up a lot for that too, relative to where that was that was a mind. I was blown away by
the best running back at USC last year is in Lubbock, Texas, right now. Like
I couldn't believe they moved up to get Woody Marks. Like I don't maybe this will end up on Old Takes Exposed, but like if I were a Texans fan, I would be pulling my hair out at that pick.
I just don't think Joe Mixon. Like I think Joe Mixon has a year left, and I just don't know.
The running backs that were on the board, it was just like you moved up for Woody Marks.
Yeah, don't love this draft.
I mean, I was fine with the Ursary. I was fine with Jalen Noel. Jalen Smith and Woody Marks were just perplexing. Jalen Reed felt fine. I mean, and Jaden Higgins at 34 felt like a reach to me. I mean, consensus, it's fine, but like, I don't know. I didn't really like Jaden Higgins' tape. I thought he felt very raw, despite being a really impressive athlete. I wanted to see more technical prowess from him. I wanted to see more just breakaway ability to separate. I thought was questionable with him, just a kind of tight mover when you're talking about his breaks and routes. So that's why it's a C for me for him. But overall, their class gets a C, 2nd lowest grade in the class for me, and they get a C+ from Jay. But moving into our final team, the worst draft, according to us, in the class, and you hate to see it, is the Green Bay Packers. They get a C+ from me, and they get an F from Jay. They started off with Matthew Golden. Give that B+. I think that's a generally fine pick. Like it seems decent to me. I think there is some redundancy in their wide receiver room still, despite them finally getting their 1st round receiver. But it's a fine pick. Anthony Belton. I was very low on Anthony Belton. I thought he was like a 5th round talent. I'd love to see the Packers taking him at 54 here as a Bears fan. But history says that the Packers proved me wrong on this. So we'll see.
Packers here?
Yeah.
Trash.
I thought Belton's – I just think his feet are too damn slow to really last in the NFL. His power can play. His power will keep him around on NFL rosters. Like he can be like a Matt Pryor type player to me, where it's like this dude's just massive and strong and can be a 6th offensive lineman for you. But that feels extremely rich at 54. So, like I said, history says the Packers proved me wrong on this, but like, I don't know. I just did not like his tape.
I try to be unbiased and fair on this podcast, and I just look at this draft and I'm like, if I could give an F- to everything, I would, but I can't because I'm a nice guy. I got to bump them up to just a straight F. I mean, just reach after reach after reach here. I mean, Matthew Golden. I mean, I feel like they just they looked at this board and they're like, we've never taken a wide receiver in the modern era, it feels like. So let's go take a wide receiver in the 1st round, just because if not, this crowd's going to crucify us. I didn't think Matthew Golden was a 1st round pick. And there you go and going to take him. Then you go reach on a guy out of North Carolina State who's trash. And then you double down and take another receiver out of TCU, trash. Just a whole bunch
You mean
of
the second
garbage.
coming of Cordero Patterson, Savion Williams?
Just a bunch of garbage. Just absolute rubbish. I mean, if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, you got to be looking at this just an absolute horror.
It's a highly questionable class for them. Like even I
I
gave
they
them
let the
some
crowd
like
get
I
to 'em.
liked the Warren Brinson pick in the 6th round. I thought Matthew Golden was fine. I thought Baron Sorrell was decent
Trash.
value, but like Anthony Belton, Savion Williams, Colin Oliver, and Micah Robinson all felt like big reaches to me, and that really knocks their grade down. And they didn't have the volume they had in the last few years to really be drafting like this. And they like the last few years they drafted like this, but they had so many picks that it was like they're gonna find guys. And I question how many guys they actually find from this class because their volume was just good, not great.
Yeah. No, yeah, just absolute garbage from top to bottom. And the downfall of the mighty Green Bay Packers is coming quick, fast, in a hurry. You don't have a quarterback. I mean, just falling apart at the seams. The best thing you can do right now is just trade your head coach to, I don't know, a team down south or something for whatever you can get for him, because you're in big trouble, and the only asset you have is your head coach.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's our fair, honest, unbiased draft grades of the 2025 NFL draft.
Yeah, why would Jay hate the Packers? He's a Bills fan.
Yeah, I have no reason to hate the Packers. They're basically Buffalo fans.
But yeah, I think that wraps it for us. My favorite class was Washington. My least favorite was Houston.
My favorite was probably New England. I don't know if that reflects on draft grades. What did I?
You have them roughly like 8th.
Oh, I only went to the first like 2 or 3 rounds. I didn't grade after that, so everything after that was consensus grades.
Yeah,
but I love what New England did. I loved what Kansas City did. I liked Buffalo. I liked Chicago. Just trying to go off the top of my head right now.
Yeah,
so.
Buffalo was your top. Pittsburgh was your second. KC was your third. Then Philly, Rams, Tampa, Chicago, New England, Baltimore, Washington. My top 10. Let's see. My top 10 was Washington, KC, Arizona, Carolina, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Giants, Rams, Eagles, and Titans.
Hell yeah. I'm so excited for this football season.
Me too, man.
Oh man. Whenever we're gonna start, we gotta start getting into divisions here pretty quick. We're what, 4 months away?
We're getting there, man. I mean, I'm preparing already. Let's see. I've got wrong one.
4 months until we're in Philadelphia for week 1 together, coming to you live.
I've got my all 22 videos already. I've got my clips ready to go for our breakdowns. I've been working on these for the last like week or two, where I'm just grinding all 22 tape and pulling clips as I can to supplement our breakdowns. So I've got all these
absolutely things. If anybody's watching right now and you're a fan of a team and you're passionate about your team, you can DM me or you can DM Quentin and maybe come on our breakdown.
Yeah, let us know if you want to come in and talk ball.
We'll talk ball.
DMs are open.
I can't promise I won't talk shit to you. I try to be nice though.
No, I think you walk the line well.
Yeah, there's sometimes where I'm like, I really don't agree with that, but I'm very nice, very nice. We always have a good time. We love all of our guests, so
yeah.
But yeah, that'll do it. We're probably 2 or 3 weeks away from starting that, And then before you know it, we'll have college football getting fired up. Texas Tech's winning a national championship this year. Baron Morton's going to win a Heisman. Oh, I got a big feature on that. Kentucky Derby winner. Let's go through it real quick. Let's give out a Kentucky Derby winner in like the last 10 seconds so we can claim it. I'm gonna read you the horses, and I'm assuming you've been studying for weeks now. So I'm gonna read you all 20
Live for the ponies.
I'm gonna read you all 20 participants. If you want to write them down, you can. I know you don't need to since you've been studying. So I'm going to read them as they are in pole position, not as they are in odds. So we have Citizen Bull in the 1, Neoquas in the 2, Final Gambit in the 3, American Promise in the 5. I don't know where the 4 pole is, but Admire Daytona in the 6, Luxor Cafe in the 7, Journalism in the 8, Burnham Square in the 9, Grande in the 10, Flying Mohawk in the 11, East Avenue in the 12, Publisher in the 13, 14 is Tis-tastic, 15 Render Judgment, 16 Coal Battle, 17 Sandman, 18 Sovereignty, 19 Chunk of Gold, 20 Owen Almighty, and I'm guessing the 20, I think everything's getting pushed down in pole position because I think they pulled the 4 horse. 21 is Baeza.
Okay. Number 1, Render Judgment.
Render Judgment. Let's see. Where was that one? Render Judgment. The 15 horse. 30-1 odds right there, baby. Most horses are 30-1.
Number 2, Gambit. I forget the first word.
Gambit. Final Gambit. 30-1 in the 3 spot. Okay. Let's give us one more. Win, place, and show. One place and show, you get 3 horses.
Citizen Pole, was it?
Citizen Bull, the 1 horse.
Bull.
Hey, what if I told you that was a Bob Baffert horse?
Oh, I'd be excited.
Yeah, Citizen Bull, 20-1 at the 1 position. They haven't. I don't think a horse has won the Derby from the 1, and I think they said since the 40s. But Bob Baffert has won 3 out of the last 7 Kentucky Derbies.
Times are changing.
So yeah, so I have Citizen Bull. I also have that horse. I have Journalism. He's the heavy favorite at 3-1 at the 8 spot. And then I have Coal Battle, the 16 spot at 30-1. I really like Sandman. He's a gray, and he's in the 17 pole. 17 is the only pole position that has never won the Kentucky Derby out of the 1 through 20.
Oh, okay.
And if he wasn't in the 17, he might be the favorite over Journalism.
Really?
But yep. But he's at 6-1, basically solely because of his pole position.
Okay, sounds like a hot tip to me.
Yeah. And his name's Sandman, and they play Metallica when he walks off of his trailer.
That's pretty metal.
So yeah, and Baffert has another horse as well. If you're a trainer guy, let's see. Well, the 4 horse that he had might have gotten pulled because no, the only Baffert horse is Citizen Bull, so they must have pulled the other one.
Lock it in.
Yeah, lock it in. Yeah, those are the 3 I have. I have Bull, I have Journalism, and I have Coal Battle.
And I have Citizen Bull, Final Gambit, and Render Judgment. I really like Render Judgment.
Yeah. I wanted to take American Promise, but I'll let my wife and my son pick them. So That's what we ended up with. They just happened to pick the favorite. So that wasn't me by any means. So yeah, no, I'm excited. Kentucky Derby weekend. NFL coming on soon. So
It just ended. It's coming on soon.
it didn't just end.
Well, the draft. Like, I feel like the draft is the end of like it starts in September and it ends in May.
I was about to say we're like halfway through the off season. Like,
According to my wife, these are the 4 months she gets of me.
what is this? Okay. So today is May 2nd. And I will be at your house in exactly 4 months.
Yes. Yes, you will. To celebrate the start.
So she has exactly 4 months from today.
Yeah.
So
I can't.
yeah,
But
you let her know.
oh my God.
All right. We'll see y'all here the next couple of weeks.
All right. Adios.
And when you knock us down, on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.